Network.
Out wide right with Ladero onto his favorite left foot. Finds Jack McGlynn centrally, just hit the post moments ago. No whistle as Musa got a tug of the jersey. We play on, ball in behind for Julio. Foot race here. Anderson, Julio, past Tarbell, empty net. Anderson, Julio!
FC Dallas is feeling good after picking up 3 critical home points last Saturday against the Portland Timbers. With just 4 points in the game in hand separating the Burn from a play-in spot, every game matters down the stretch. That resonates even more tonight as the Toros are in the state capitol facing former manager Nico Estevez and Austin FC. The Verde and Black are in 7th place in the West, just 6 points ahead of the Burn. It's a Copa Tejas showdown in North Austin as FC Dallas takes on Austin FC. Along the lines of the FC Dallas Radio Network, it is the FC Dallas pregame show presented by your local Toyota dealer. On tonight's presentation, we'll have the sounds of tonight's match. Our commentary team for the evening, Ryan Figert and Steve Davis, will join me to break down tonight's opening contest. And hey, speaking of contest, I am your host, Sam Hale, tonight. We've also got a contest running on the Burncast. If you're listening on YouTube, of course, it's our second screen experience. You can see the lads right now. And we've got a special giveaway tonight. 2 tickets to next week's home match against LAFC are on the line. You might have heard that Young Min Son guy is going to be there, a pretty popular player. Tickets are going quick, but we got 2 guaranteed for you. All you got to do, get in the YouTube chat and leave us a comment. And the best comment tonight will win 2 tickets next week's home matchup. Those tickets are going quick. This is a big commodity. So get in the YouTube comments, leave us a comment about the game, what we're doing, leave a question. We'll judge the best comment throughout the broadcast, and the winner gets 2 tickets to Toyota Stadium for next week's big matchup as FCD host Yeonmin Sun and LAFC. But now we bring in our own global superstar, Steve Davis, to talk about the headlines of this week's matchup. And Steve, we talked a little bit about it last week with Portland, that it was kind of a 6-pointer, but Portland was in 5th, Dallas was in 12th. Tonight, there's no doubt about it. This is a bona fide, electrified, single-car 6-pointer game tonight for FC Dallas.
Sam Hale, I do love the smell of a good old 6-pointer, especially when it's got a little Copa Tejas in play, which it does tonight. I tell you what, though, the big picture here, here's your key word for the night, Sam: margin of error.
Those 3 words.
Good point, Sam. I stand corrected. Either way, baby, it's shrinking. The margin for error is shrinking for Dallas. So Dallas really doesn't want to miss the playoffs 2 years in a row. I think they probably need to get to 44 points just to be in the conversation. That means they need to pick up 16 points in the next 9 games. That's 1.8 points a game. And, Sam, that's getting pretty close to what, your Philadelphia's, your Cincinnati's, your San Diego's, your conference leaders. That's what they've averaged for the year. So Dallas, they can't miss on a lot of points. The margin for error is shrinking if they want to make the playoffs.
Yeah, they burned through a lot of their goodwill earlier in the season, so now they got to make it up on the back end. But we'll look at the squad tonight that is looking to get those 3 points and try to get them up the standings. It's Michael Collodi back in net, Lalo Sabubakar, Osazier, Gide, Sebastian Ibiaga, Bernard Kamungo, Christian Kappas, Ramiro Shaq Moore, Sebastian Leggett, Pedro Musa, and Logan Farrington. And there's a lot to discuss here. We'll start with someone that's getting his second straight start, and that's Bernie Kamungo. Obviously, last week we were a little maybe skeptical of Bernie at left wing back or left back, whatever you want to call it. Left-sided defender maybe is the easiest way to say it. But he turned in a really good performance. We talked to Eric Quill about it yesterday. He had a lot of positive things to say about Bernie and how he was instructing him to play. And I got to say, after talking to Quill yesterday and listening to his comments, I'm a little bit more sold on Bernie Kamungo, left-sided defender going forward. How about you?
Well, Sam, look, it's 1 in a row so far. So, he's got to keep going. Generally, I think it's a strong lineup tonight. I'm eager to see Christian Kappa's first start. I think Leggett gets rewarded for coming in last week and really making a difference in a couple of different ways. I like it. As far as Bernie Kamungo goes, he's in that wing-back position again, and I think we can all agree that, wing-back is not his natural position. He's a little better further up the field, but I really did think, we said on the broadcast last week, that he was given some extra instruction on defense and told to prioritize that defense. And, we know Eric Quill likes he really doesn't want to call this a 3-man back line. He wants to call it a 5-man back line. So they're asking him to do more defensively. You guys had a good discussion yesterday with Eric Quill about dialing in on some of the details defensively. His body shape and his body angles and how he's turning on diagonals and his relationship with the back line and when to tuck in a little and stay connected to that back line and how to stay connected, getting more granular. So if he can focus on that and keep focusing on it and make the runs up and contribute to the offense, then they've got a little something there.
Yeah, it was very football 301, especially. And I thought one of the interesting parts about that was Quill was so complimentary of Bernie's natural skills that he had. He's like, I don't need to teach him those things. I need to give him these. Like, it's that talent identification, I think, is a very interesting part of Quill's game that I'm sure we'll talk about all throughout his tenure. But you mentioned Christian Kappas, the Texas native, gets his first start. He comes in for Kaike, who's had a good stretch of games, but probably didn't maybe have his best game last week. He's 19 or 20. That's going to happen. But, man, I think this is one of the more curious things to see because Kappas is an Eric Quill guy. Quill has said on multiple occasions, this is when I got to FC Dallas, this is the guy I wanted. I was always going to bring him in. And more importantly, he said that he expects the possession numbers to go up with Kappas in. And I'm curious, how do you think a FC Dallas with a little bit more possession actually functions?
How do they function with more possession? They have more possession, Sam. It sort of answers its own question. So the idea is you still want to be vertical. You still want to go direct when you can. But in the build-out, you're a little safer, a little bit more ball secure in your build-out. You can keep just a little bit more of the ball so you're not turning it over in bad spots. Kaike, he's going to be a good player. But he's young. He's gonna be a little inconsistent. In the first 15 minutes the other day, he was having a rough time. I think he settled into the game a little bit more. But his very first touch, it got away from him. It turned into an early opportunity for Portland last week. His next couple of touches, they weren't secure. You don't expect that out of somebody like Christian Kappas because he's got a little bit more experience. So maybe that's the other way. You don't get the 2 or 3 bobbles a game that maybe Kaike is going to have when he's having a bad match. There've been plenty of matches where Kaike was very ball secure. So he's just going to be a little bit more consistent in possession, I think.
I mean, 19 and 20-year-olds, they're projects, and I think that we've seen so much success out of them already is a nice success. But to see Kappas in, I'm interested, and that's going to be something to watch tonight. Someone that we're not going to be surprised by tonight is Sebastian Lletget, who you mentioned coming in for what we believe to be that 10 role for Patterson Delgado. And, you can't argue that Lletget was one of the biggest impacts. He comes in, he has the set-piece delivery that gives Abubakar his first goal, and when it ends up being the second and game-clinching goal, he brought a lot of security. And, I know Eric Quill kind of wants to play a little bit wide at times with that position, but I don't think there's anything that they can ask Lletget to do that he's not capable of in that spot.
Well, let me take you back a little further on that goal the other day from Abubakar that, as you mentioned, did come off Sebastian Lletget's really good dead ball service. He started that whole sequence with a tackle in midfield, a slide tackle, and it was a sort of a gritty play that we saw like earlier this year when he set up a goal against Sporting Kansas City. Just sort of the same way, sort of muscling somebody off the ball. So he can give you a little bit of that too. So you're absolutely right. He's got a good, well-rounded skill set, but mostly what Sebastian Lletget gives you is when he gets the ball, especially in midfield, he's almost always going to do something sensible with it.
And especially when he's got Musa and Farrington ahead of him, that's going to be his sensible thing will be get it to one of those guys and just see what good happens. Well, before we talk a little bit about Austin here, we need to talk about the man in between the sticks, Michael Collodi. He got his second clean sheet in MLS last week. Of course, if you can see on the webcam, I am paying tribute to him with his headband. But, I think there's been a lot of hoopla given to him, rightfully so. I think he played well last week. But I'm curious, do you think that his performances we've seen in MLS are him overachieving, or is this just kind of playing to his level and it's a small sample?
Yeah, I don't think he's overachieving. Eric Quill told us earlier this year when Collodi was going to have to make a start early in the season, he had a tremendous amount of confidence in him, and he had high expectations. This was not him putting him in goal and hoping for the best. He expected a lot of performance there, and I think what we've all been so impressed about with Michael Collodi isn't just his ability, but it's his confidence. It's his presence. He's a confident guy, and and it shows on the field in different ways. It manifests in things like higher starting positions, which allows you to be a little bit more aggressive and come get balls that, a lot of times a young goalkeeper might be content to sit back, be a little bit more of a shot stopper, be safe. That's not Michael Collodi. He's okay getting out and navigating traffic. Even with a lot of guys in the box, we saw it the other day. He's okay to go get a good strong hand on it, punch it out, take command over there. Commanding your penalty area is something that you expect goalkeepers to do as they get more advanced in their careers. not a guy that's had 3 or 4 starts in Major League Soccer, but he's doing it.
He is lacking in fear. That much is true. Well, we see Austin for the first time this year. It's a really late starting for Austin versus Dallas. We usually get it in the beginning. We'll talk a little bit more about the Nico Estevez effect in our third segment when we have a little more time. But I think a lot of people see the stats on Austin this year, who are in 7th. They're in a playoff spot. But they see the low amount of goals. They see the low amount of goals conceded. They see the low amount of shots made by Dallas. And they're like, oh, it's the same old Nico Estevez. And I'm sure some of it is that, but we were talking a little bit beforehand. And you're not as convinced that it's the same old Nico that we were used to here in Dallas.
Not lately, especially with Brandon Vasquez going out of the lineup. They're going a little bit. They're still going to possess you and side to side you a little bit, and try to work it up in stages some. But they're going a little more vertical now. What they're trying to do is get those wingers, running out. Wolf on the left, Berkey on the right, Bakari on the right. Not Berkey. I don't know who that is. Roman Berkey.
I was about to say Roman Berkey's playing wing.
The St. Louis goalie is not running the wing for
I got to tear up my notes.
No, Bakari over on the right. So they want to go a little bit faster up to them right now. So you're still going to get some of that. The thing though with Austin is they actually do create some chances. The wingers sort of are their chance creators, and they're sort of mid-pack in terms of chance creation, especially at home, I think. But shots, they're a little bit lower, but mostly what they don't do is finish. They are the finishing is just not good on that team. They are 13 goals below what's expected, below XG. There's only one team in Major League Soccer that's worse than that. So they do create some chances. They just don't score a lot of goals.
Well, Steve Davis always scores a lot of goals whenever we pass the ball to him. We will hear from him along with Ryan Figert in our third segment. Steve, thank you as always.
You got it.
When we return on the FC Dallas pregame show, we'll have the sounds of this week's matchup. This is FC Dallas Soccer presented by Toyota on the FC Dallas Radio Network.
So, what'd you do this weekend?
Well, just took the Tacoma off-road, deep into the woods, got to this hidden campsite only it could reach.
Nice. I hooked up the boat to the Tundra and hit up the lake. Towed it like a pro. Had the whole lake to ourselves.
Hey, wait, did I mention I went rock climbing too? Uh-huh, yeah, thanks to the Tacoma's crawl control.
Well, sounds like we both had fun weekends.
Mine was better.
The Toyota Tundra and Tacoma are built for all the fun. Test drive at your local Toyota dealer or visit Toyota.com today. Toyota, let's go places. Feature availability differs based on trim. See Toyota.com for details.
Want to hear something incredible? That's Eleanor. Just 10 hours after being born, Eleanor was airlifted to Children's Health and met by our expert team trained in cardiac and critical care. At 4 days old, she received a stent to help her heart pump blood to the rest of her body. And today, she's a happy, healthy 1-year-old. That's incredible. That's Children's Health. Incredible together.
In sports, if you think joy only happens after you win, think again. Look at the world's most successful athletes like Serena Williams, Brooks Koepka, and Alex Morgan. They don't spend all their days grinding away. They take time to enjoy themselves, like getting together with friends over a Michelob Ultra, because they know that happiness is the key to winning, and that joy is the whole game, not just the end game. Michelob Ultra. 95 calories, 2.6 grams of carbs. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. AB Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Hi everyone, it's Logan Farrington, and you're listening to FC Dallas Soccer on the FC Dallas app.
Winner, Chick-fil-A dinner. All season long when FC Dallas wins at home, fans win free Chick-fil-A. Be sure your Chick-fil-A app is up to date. Location services are turned on when you attend matches at Toyota Stadium. After the team wins, before you leave your seats, open the app to redeem the Chick-fil-A offer. Welcome back to the FC Dallas pregame show presented by Toyota here on the FC Dallas Radio Network. In our next segment, our commentary team for the evening, Ryan Figert and Steve Davis, will join me. We'll break down the lineups, the tactics, everything you need to know about tonight's I-35 showdown between FC Dallas and Austin FC. And a quick reminder about the FC Dallas Radio podcast feed, available everywhere you get podcasts for free. Of course, the postgame show has been on there for almost 4 years. It feels like it's been the quickest 4 years ever. But, of course, highlights, stats, analysis, everything you need to know about the game that was in 30 minutes or less, or in the case of a good victory, maybe a few minutes more. We'll give you some extra bonus on that. But, of course, that goes up after every game finishes and after we finish recording live. But starting this year, we've added the FC Dallas agenda that comes out almost every Wednesday. Of course, Ryan, Steve, and Garrett Meltzer host that. And you get great big game thoughts, big thought analysis. And, of course, You get big-time guests, too. This past week, Lalo Abubakar, the man of the match, MLS Team of the Match Day recipient, was on. He talked about his journey to Dallas, how good it felt to get that goal. And, of course, if you saw the social clip of him getting the cutout cowboy hat, it all came together from that particular place. It's a great interview with Lawless. And, of course, in our archives, we've heard from Petter Musa, Logan Farrington. Ryan just did a great interview with Marco Farfan before he departed for Tigres. There's all sorts of great content back there. So how do you get to it? Go to your podcast provider of choice, type in FC Dallas Radio Network, hit subscribe so you don't miss any of our great free content. Now let's get to the sounds of this week's match. They feature FC Dallas manager Eric Quill, striker Petter Musa, and midfielder Sebastian Lletget.
Focus, attention to detail. They're a great side that these are emotional battles that, emotion's important to keep in check, and focus on the details and execute. That's what we need to do. And I think we're trending that way in our previous 3 or 4 performances, but we got some things we need to clean up, and these guys know it, and I think they've been doing a great job this week of preparing themselves for it. Value our moments with the ball. We gotta move them. We can't be turning it over in 2 or 3 passes. We've gotta be sure about our ideas, scanning the field, seeing the game before it happens, because the crowd is a factor, and it's important that our guys are locked in and our ideas are right, because they can get you in transition if you're sloppy. And so we need to make sure when we turn it over, if we turn it over, where we're turning it over is the most important thing.
Yeah, it's very important for us every game right now. We want to get spot in the playoffs, and we will face a tough opponent, away game, nice stadium, and I think we need to put the effort, like last game at home. We play a very good game. We control the game, and we created a lot of chances. So we try to do this once again on the weekend. And I work with Nico. When I came here, was not that long, but it was good. It's a nice guy, but now we are on the field. We are enemies. I play against his team, and I am very motivated as always. Every game I want to win, and I'm looking forward for that game. For me, it's honestly every game the same goals. Try to win every single game. Be able to help the team score the goals, and in the end, the win the game. Of course, it's a little bit different because it's our rival, and we prepared every day, and we are prepared, and we go there to show the quality.
It's a huge game. There's definitely no surprise there. We're well aware of how important it is. A Clásico, especially in Texas, this is huge. For the club, for our hearts, for just integrity of this club. Even if it's a regular season game, we know how important this is. It's gonna be. It's always an amazing one, and I'm looking forward to it. I've known him for many years. Obviously a great coach, and we had him here. So we're well aware of what he wants to do, and or at least have an idea. We're looking at video, analyzing everything we can, and in preparation for this game. And I think we're ready. Yeah, it's always tough. You take it in, as best you could. It's an amazing crowd. It's an amazing environment. It's a lot of hostility, but this is what we play for. This is amazing. This is the types of games that players want to be in, and to represent FC Dallas there, it means a lot. So it's going to be amazing. It's going to be one for the fans for sure.
When we return here on the FC Dallas pregame show, Ryan Figert and Steve Davis join me to break down tonight's matchup. This is FC Dallas Soccer presented by Toyota on the FC Dallas Radio Network.
UT Southwestern Medical Center in Dallas, Texas, where discoveries change lives. The spark of collaboration that fuels bold thinking in our labs. The spark of inspiration that motivates greatness in the next generation. And the spark of innovation that pushes the boundaries of today's care. At UT Southwestern, teamwork and talent combine to fuel discovery, education, and healing. UT Southwestern, the future of medicine sparks here.
Welcome to the world of WinStar, the casino of FC Dallas, where 10,000 electronic games plus roulette, craps, and blackjack is just the beginning. Get lost in our 2-story luxury spa. Enjoy 36 holes of championship golf and catch the biggest names in music and comedy at the spectacular Lucas Oil Live, all just 1 hour north of DFW. So come live in the wow at the world of WinStar.
In sports, if you think joy only happens after you win, think again. Look at the world's most successful athletes like Serena Williams, Brooks Koepka, and Alex Morgan. They don't spend all their days grinding away. They take time to enjoy themselves, like getting together with friends over a Michelob Ultra, because they know that happiness is the key to winning, and that joy is the whole game, not just the end game. Michelob Ultra. 95 calories, 2.6 grams of carbs. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. AB Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Hi everyone, it's Sebastian Leggett, and you're listening to FC Dallas Soccer on the FC Dallas app.
Welcome back to the FC Dallas pregame show presented by Toyota here on the FC Dallas Radio Network. Got about 20 minutes from kickoff at Q2 Stadium tonight. So let's go ahead and get you the starting lineups for this evening matchup, and they are brought to you today by Advocare. We'll start first with the home side Austin FC and first-year manager Nico Estevez. It's Brad Stuver in net for the Verde, Guillermo Biro, Alexander Svatok, Brendan Hines-Ike, and Mikael Dessler on the back line. Owen Wolf, Ilya Sanchez, Dani Pedetta, and Osman Bukhari on the midfield. Mirto Uzuni and Diego Rubio up top for the Verde and Black tonight. And now let's bring you the starting lineup for FC Dallas and first-year manager Eric Quill.
Michael Collodi, goalkeeper, Frisco, Texas.
Sebastian Ibiaga, center back, Duke University.
Osaze Origide, center back, Netherlands, Nijmegen.
Lalas Abubakar, central defender, University of Dayton.
Shaq Moore, right back, Fort Lauderdale, Florida.
Ramiro Benetti, midfielder, Brazil.
Christian Capes, midfielder, Houston, Texas.
Bernard Camungo, I'm a winger, and I'm from Abilene, Texas.
Sebastian Leggett, center midfield, San Francisco, California.
Logan Farrington, striker, Racine, Wisconsin.
Petar Musa, forward, from Zagreb, Croatia.
And the subs tonight for Dallas, Patrickson, Deedson, Anderson, Julio, Pedrinho, Josh Torquato, Sam Sarver, Nolan Norris, Kaike, and Jake Jackson. Now we bring in the commentary team for tonight's Copa Tejas matchup. It's Ryan Figert and Steve Davis. And Ryan, we talked about it a little bit in the first segment, but this is a true six-pointer tonight. But it's not just about the points itself. Copa Tejas is in the balance tonight. It's the first time Austin and Dallas have played this year, so it's the first rivalry matchup. I mean, when it comes to a pressure cooker of a game for both sides, we are right in the middle of it down there in North Austin.
Yeah, and it's so good that the team carries the momentum from winning against Portland last week into this one, because it's a game where your season is essentially on the line in a lot of ways. And if you were coming into this downtrodden after 2 straight home losses, feel like everything is going against you. You're going into a difficult environment up against, your former coach. All these things could have weighed on the team, but I think they've actually helped the team be motivated this week to continue on with that momentum, take that into Austin and go and get a big result and push into this final stretch of the season.
And I think it's something that Quill has really stressed. He talks a lot about the emotional side of the game, so, try and prepare his players mentally for that. And, Steve, we talked a little bit about Bernie in that first segment, about, just how he performed last week. And you said something very important. It's 1 in a row for Bernie. He's done it once. Well, as he does it tonight, every time you do it, it's a bit of a dice roll. I guess the question is, do you have faith that he can replicate? He doesn't have to be perfect, but can he replicate tonight on the road in a raucous environment against a very different-looking team in Austin?
Well, we're going to find out. I mentioned a while ago that they like to create chances through their wingers. It'll be Owen Wolf on one side, Bakari on the other side, and he does have to be on point defensively. I do believe that maybe having done it last week, he's got a little bit more confidence now. He's proven to himself that he can do it. They are positioning him a little bit more defensively, so that makes it a little easier. That sort of limits his responsibilities on the attack a little bit more, allows him to play a little bit more defensively. Again, it's not his forte, but when you give him the license, when you tell him it's okay if you don't get forward as much as you would a wingback, we need you more like a fifth man in the back line, it does allow him to sort of concentrate on those duties.
And he's going to have Lalo Sabubakar in his ear, hopefully instructing him. And he's also expected to have Christian Capes on that side to help cover, who gets his first MLS start tonight. He comes in for Kaike. And, man, obviously, Captain Ramiro last week looked like a legit superhero. So with Kappas coming in tonight, this is a guy that Quill really loves. He has a lot of appreciation for his skill set, having coached him all the way back in the youth ranks of Houston. But this is going to be a very, a bit of a different look, bringing in the 24-year-old Kappas for the 20-year-old KK.
Yeah, obviously a little bit more experience, but the one thing that Eric Quill pointed out to us in particular was his ability to facilitate possession, and I think that was something this team needs, particularly in a difficult road environment. There's going to be moments where you need just to take a breather on the ball, and Kappas is somebody who's able to help with that. So is Sebastian Leggett. So you bring two guys into the team that help you a lot with possession. Eric Quill said, we've been around the 40% mark this season. He hopes these guys can take them up towards the 45% mark. Obviously, we know Austin, we know Nico Ball, we know that is very possession heavy, so maybe it doesn't necessarily happen tonight, but can they get those moments of rest on the ball? Kappas and Leggett will be crucial if they can.
Worth pointing out, by the way, is if you can establish a little bit more possession through Kappas, through Leggett, it allows Bernie and Shaq a little bit more time to move their positioning a little further upfield.
And, I don't have this written down, but, Steve, I do want to tackle it. Ramiro really is having one of the more underrated good FC Dallas seasons, both on the actual pitch with stats, and then everyone you talk to says he is one of the most important players on this team. And I'm curious, how important is having a guy like Ramiro, who is clearly a proven leader and also just really good at his job, for a guy like Kappas, who's going to be walking in. He's played overseas, but this is a big environment tonight. It's a rivalry game. He's back in his home state again. There's a lot of factors mentally that go into this one.
Well, I'm going to pat us on the back a little bit here, Sam. Our FC Dallas radio broadcast crew, he's not underrated, Ramiro, I'm talking about, if you're listening to us this year, because we're always bragging about the guy. We're always talking about how important he is and doing the little things and providing communication for guys like Alvaro when he's in the lineup or Kaike when he's in there. And tonight, for helping Kappas, with his positioning vis-a-vis everybody else that he's not quite as familiar with. So you're absolutely right. In that position, that screener right in front of the back line, communication and sort of being a field general is absolutely critical, and I think he's done a good job of it. And you're right, it's not as noticeable. And if people around the country aren't talking about Ramiro, I get it. It's not the glamour job, but it is sort of a glue job, and I think he's doing a really good job of it.
Yeah, if you listen to the FC Dallas Radio Network, there's two players that you think should be best 11. It might be Osaze Irigide and maybe Ramiro, the way we talk about.
Now, wait a minute.
Okay,
tap the brakes a little bit there. I didn't say that.
I didn't say I'm a zealot. I'm a zealot.
It's a long way from he's not being talked about a lot to best 11. There's a lot of gap in
breaking the accelerator, baby. Let's go. I'm here for it. But a guy that has been really good in MLS for a long time, Ryan, Sebastian Leggett, gets the start tonight. We talked about the impact he made last week, delivering the set piece that allowed Boubacar to score the second goal. Just the stability he brings. I want to talk about the upside of that, because he's going to be helping feed Musa and Farrington tonight. We've seen him get wide at times before. When it comes to the stability choice and the veteran choice, it's hard to argue that this is not the best choice for Eric Quill's lineup.
Yeah, and I think it'll be interesting to see how long he can go, right? He gave us 30 minutes off the bench roughly last week, but I think he's fit, ready to go. He hasn't been dealing with any injuries of late that we know of, so excited to see him bring that the technical ability and also just a solid head on his shoulders, right? Working his way through this game, helping some of the players around him, always being tidy on the ball. He brings so many good qualities to this lineup. And then the other thing for me is you look at the bench now and there's so much quality, because if he doesn't go 90 minutes, do you need to bring on a winger to stretch the field? Do you need to bring on a midfielder? Do you need to bring on another defender to see this game out? They have all of those options on the bench, and Leggett can give them a really strong start to this game. They can bring in some relief later on.
And Steve, that was actually, Ryan can read my mind almost at times. We've been doing this way too long, but the idea that Leggett probably doesn't have 90, at 32 years old, 33 years old, maybe doesn't have 90 in his legs. But, while he is I think the high floor pick, is there any concern that he may not be the ceiling pick because he doesn't maybe have the speed of a Julio or the, we believe to be the dancing ability of someone like Dietzen, or even just the pure power of someone like a Patrickson? Or is that just a concern for concern's sake?
Look, different games call for different skill sets, different moments of the match call for different skill sets. You need to have a bunch of different ones. He gives you, he's going to give you something that Dietzen can't give you, or that somebody else can't give you. They're all going to be able to contribute in their own ways, and the important thing is that you develop a system of balances, and you balance the system so you've got a variety of skill sets on there.
Well, before we talk about Austin, let's talk about the Strike Force 1. That's Peter Musa and Logan Farrington. And I'm going to give you the choice tonight. Peter Musa has 2 goals, 2 assists in 3 games against Austin. On the other side, last week, the big dog Logan Farrington suffered 7 fouls against Portland. Coming into tonight, Austin has committed 318 fouls. That's 10th highest in MLS. So I throw it to you. Which one do you think is going to have the bigger night down in the Capitol?
Well, you win games by scoring goals, so I think whoever ends up on the score sheet, but they both have a really good opportunity to do so. I think Petar Musa loves a game in a Copa Tejas matchup. 5 goals and 3 assists in 7 games against Houston and Austin combined. Logan Farrington, I think, has a point to prove as well tonight against his former manager. Obviously, a rookie, you don't expect much, but he was showing us throughout the first half of the season he was ready. He wasn't getting the opportunities to start, and maybe that's a chip on the shoulder for the big dog tonight. We know all the different ways that he can affect the game. He's coming off throwing a strike with the first pitch on Rangers night. I mean, this guy is in great form, and I'm excited to see that partnership up top tonight.
Musa scores a goal tonight. He's going to, if you look at 2-year windows over the FC Dallas history, he's going to be 30 in 2 years, and that's going to tie Jesus Ferreira for best 2-year window in FC Dallas history.
Speaking of somebody who loved the game against Austin as well.
Right. That's a great point. Yeah.
Team's all-time top scorer against Austin with 6.
And coming into tonight, that would tie him for the Western Conference lead in goals with 14, I believe, with Denny Bouanga, but I'd have to go double-check my math on that one. Well, let's talk a little bit about Austin, and Steve specifically. I want to talk about the man on the touchline, because before he was the Austin manager, Nico Estevez was the FC Dallas manager, and we had a lot of conversations, a lot of interaction with Nico. And I'm curious if there's something that sticks out with him during his 2.5-year tenure, because I could probably sit here and tell you stories all day, but we don't have all day.
What I always liked about Nico was just talking soccer with him. He had a really good tactical mind. I know we could have conversations about how that translated on the field, and maybe he had a conservative way of looking at the game where he wanted everybody to be organized, and sometimes that made them just a little too static in their positioning. But when you ask about a favorite memory, that's what I talk about. Besides him just being a nice fellow, I just think about just listening to him and talking about the game and how he had a really good eye. And this is going to pop up in a minute in the keys. How he had a really good eye for catching opponents' weaknesses.
Most definitely there, yeah. All-time good dude quality, regardless of what we talk about his actual coaching prowess. Well,
but tonight he's the enemy. We heard Musa. We got to follow the lead of our number 9.
No, I completely agree. He is. There's 2 nights a year I don't root for Nico Estevez, and these are the 2 nights. But Ryan, obviously, Nico Estevez teams have good defenses. We know that tonight. But they have not had a good offense. 23 goals this year, massively underperforming, as Steve noted. What do you think is the bigger factor tonight? Austin's inability to really generate a lot of offense in general, or their ability to keep their opponents largely from scoring big goals?
Well, I think it's interesting because the season-long trends that we look at aren't really reflected in the most recent games. They've actually had more goals in their recent games. They've been scoring. They got a 4-2 win at DC United. They put up goals in LA as well. They had a 0-0 against New England, and that was kind of a nothing game. But I think their ability to score goals is starting to come along, and they've got new guys to the league. They've got Bukhari, who's in his first full season, or Zuni, who's in his first full season as well. 2 designated players that you expect with the money that they outlaid on them, they're eventually going to come good. They haven't really shown it so far. And of course, Brandon Vasquez was supposed to be the centerpiece of this attack. He had 19 games played, 5 goals, no assists before he tore his ACL, and he'll miss the rest of the season. So Rubio's in there. He's been a little bit of a Dallas killer in his career, 5 goals and 2 assists in 14 against FC Dallas. So he's one to watch in there for Vasquez. I think they're starting to come along offensively. That may make for more of an open game than if we had faced them back in March or April.
Yeah, but we're in August. Nobody on the field tonight for Austin has more than 3 goals. That's not a lot.
And one of those is a defender in Biro as well, so not exactly in the encouraging. But something that is always encouraging is the keys to the match. They are brought to you by Toyota, and they're also brought to you by Steve Davis.
Thank you, Sam. I think number 1 key tonight, wing-back play is absolutely critical. We mentioned that Austin's chance creation generally comes from those wingers, Bukhari on one side, Wolf on the other. That means Dallas's wing-backs, that's being Bernie and Shaq. They've got to be on it defensively tonight. Again, it's not the best part of Bernie's game, but Eric Will has been working on those defensive details to improve that side of him, so needs to be on point tonight. Number 2 is possession in the midfield, because I think with Kappas and Leggett coming into the starting lineup, I think that improves Dallas's passing and ball security in midfield. So maybe during certain windows of the game, they can sort of turn the tables on Austin and win that possession window. Dallas hasn't won a lot of the central midfield this year. They have a chance to do it tonight. Number 3, just good quick adjustments, because as I just mentioned, Nico is always really good. Nico Estevez is really good at identifying opposition weaknesses. is something that he can pick on. He's going to pick on something tonight. If it starts working for Austin, Eric Quill and his staff will need to identify it and plot a quick solution, and those are your keys presented by Toyota.
I have a feeling that if the game goes as I suspect, we'll be talking about that at halftime, specifically as the chess match between Nico and Eric Quill. Well, that's going to do it for tonight's pregame show. And a quick reminder, if you are watching on the YouTube stream, leave us a comment as we go throughout the game, because if you leave a good comment, we judge it to be the best comment. You will win 2 tickets to next week's big matchup here at Toyota Stadium when Hyundai Sun and LAFC come into FC Dallas. So again, if you're watching on the YouTube on the Burncast, leave us a comment. And if somebody you know isn't, well, tell them to get in here and enjoy the game with us, because we're about to get started here. It's FC Dallas. It's Austin FC. It's Copa Tejas. It's the MLS playoffs. It's the Texas rivalry. You don't want to miss it. When we return, Ryan and Steve will get you ready for kickoff down in Austin. This is FC Dallas Soccer presented by Toyota on the FC Dallas Radio Network.
So, what'd you do this weekend?
Well, just took the Tacoma off-road, deep into the woods, got to this hidden campsite only it could reach.
Nice. I hooked up the boat to the Tundra and hit up the lake. Towed it like a pro. Had the whole lake to ourselves.
Hey, wait, did I mention I went rock climbing too? Uh-huh, yeah, thanks to the Tacoma's crawl control.
Well, sounds like we both had fun weekends.
Mine was better.
The Toyota Tundra and Tacoma are built for all the fun. Test drive at your local Toyota dealer or visit Toyota.com today. Toyota, let's go places. Feature availability differs based on trim. See Toyota.com for details.
UT Southwestern Medical Center in Dallas, Texas, where discoveries change lives. The spark of collaboration that fuels bold thinking in our labs. The spark of inspiration that motivates greatness in the next generation. And the spark of innovation that pushes the boundaries of today's care. At UT Southwestern, teamwork and talent combine to fuel discovery, education, and healing. UT Southwestern. The future of medicine sparks here.
Hi everyone, it's Sebastian Ibiaga. Tonight's FC Dallas match is up next, right here on the FC Dallas app.
Well, FC Dallas are deep in the heart of Texas tonight. On the road, a short trip down I-35 to Q2 Stadium, the home of Austin FC. The current residence of former Dallas manager Nico Estevez. It was a shock appointment in the offseason by the rival Verde and Black, and it's the first time the Spanish manager will face his former club. We've got familiar faces on both sides, and the extra spice of Copa Tejas riding on this one tonight. We're in for what may well be a season-defining night this evening. I'm Ryan Figert here on the FC Dallas Radio Network. If you're watching on the Burncast, welcome in Steve Davis alongside me. And Steve, it feels like I said, a season-defining evening at Q2 Stadium tonight. A win could put Dallas on a trajectory towards passing up Austin, towards winning Copa Tejas, towards reaching for those playoff spots, and a win could be devastating. And that sets up for a really interesting evening.
One of the themes of Major League Soccer through the years has been that, the games in March and April, they can be fun, but they just don't feel like they're as big. But the games now, we're into the back stretch of the season. They feel big. Copa Tejas makes it a little bigger. The fact that it's a 6-pointer, both these teams sort of fighting for playoff positioning. Dallas fighting to get into the playoffs. It does have a big feel, doesn't it?
Yeah, and just to set the stakes, not just a 6-pointer, but these two teams are 6 points apart as we're in the final 10-game stretch of the season. And with 2 games between them tonight and then in a couple weeks here back in Frisco, that means Dallas has it in their own hands to pass Austin and at least put one team between them and the playoff line. In addition to that, Copa Tejas, of course, on the line, the tournament within the tournament in which FC Dallas, Houston Dynamo, and Austin FC compete to lift the Interstate Trophy. As it stands, Houston is in pole position. They picked up a result, snatching a late draw against Austin just a week ago to put them in that pole position. But Dallas still with an opportunity, Steve, but they've got to win both games.
And I tell you what, Dallas, I'm sort of a little bit more focused on the playoff positioning. Austin being ahead of them. Austin has a little bit of a good schedule after this. They get San Jose at home, then they go to Sporting Kansas City and to Montreal. Those are the games coming up after this. So, they're gonna pick up some points there. So again, margin for error is small. Dallas needs to get some points tonight.
Yeah, Dallas chasing Austin, Portland, Kansas City on their heels as well. RSL, yep. So many teams all in this sort of 7 through 12 positioning, and it's going to be about who can get hot at the right time. It is, of course, very hot tonight at Q2 Stadium. Temperatures in the high 90s as the teams have taken the field down in Austin. Dallas wearing their Inferno kits, the light white/blue. We still haven't figured out what to call it, but with red accents, and of course Austin will be in Verde and black here in the first half. All-star goalkeeper Brad Stuver takes his position in net for Nico Estevez, and it's Michael Collodi getting his second start in Copa Tejas action. Of course, he started against Houston earlier in the season, but this is a big moment for Michael Collodi, Steve. It's a big environment for him to come into as a young goalkeeper.
Not too big for him. He's been confident. He's we talked about it in the pregame show. His presence has always been there. His confidence has been there. I'm not worried about him. If I listen to things I'm worried about tonight, Michael Collodi ain't making at least the top 5.
He does have the headband on, so I feel a little more confident even then with Karate Kid Collodi in net tonight. Armando Villarreal in the middle, an experienced referee, a couple of MLS Cup finals under his belt. Dallas with a good record with Villarreal in the middle. Austin, not so much. Might that be a good omen for tonight's proceedings? Awaiting the whistle from the referee to get things going from Q2 Stadium tonight. Dallas will move from right to left in this first half. Quick false start from Logan Farrington before it's dropped back to Brad Stuver. We are underway in Austin tonight. Stuver catching Logan Farrington up in the air with a pump fake before launching it long. You hear the applause from the crowd. It's headed away by Uriguide. Jack Moore quickly had to close down on the far side against Wolf. Biro barreling forward from left back as he does. He was a all-star injury replacement of the latest variety, as Jordi Alba decided he was a little too big for the game. And Biro happened to live around the corner. But Stuver with the ball inside the 18-yard box. Finds Ilya Sanchez in the middle of the field, the Austin captain this season. Fires it out towards the right back, Mikkel Dessler. Patient possession along the back line for Austin FC. Dallas waiting in a mid-block, waiting for the mistake. It's all the way back once again to Stuver. Floats it straight out of play over the head of Biro. It'll be a Dallas throw on the far side. Kappas caught on the ball there by Rubio. Turns it over. Now Zuni draws some contact. 2 Austin players hit the deck. Zuni draws the foul from Osaze Uriguide.
Kappas with the first couple of rough touches. He did win a tackle a minute ago, but gave the ball away, and then his second time on the ball, he dwelled on it just a little bit. So maybe he is just feeling a little nerves in his first start with the new club.
Well, maybe a big part of the reason that he's in there is Kaique had a very similar start to the last game and couldn't quite find his feet, and a few too many turnovers in the middle of the field. It's only one in a row for Kappas as we played 2 minutes. Mungo matched up with Bukhari, who will go back through Dessler on this near side. Eric Quill donning the red hat on the touchline across from former Dallas manager Nico Estevez. All out of play as Wolf tried to keep it in on the far side. It'll be a throw-in for Shaq Moore. Not often you get a matchup with a manager who was let go by the team that he's facing within the last year. And Eric Quill and Nico Estevez, a lot in common in terms of what they've experienced as FC Dallas head coach. Different approaches to the game. We've seen that play out this season. Biaga launches the throw long. Second ball picked up by Logan Farrington in the center circle. Quick check of the shoulder. Bringing it on the dribble from outside to in. Now finds Kappas, space in the middle. Kappas out to Kamungo, wide left. Chips ball in, looking for the run of Leggett. Overhit it, but Heinzike forced into clearing it out for a throw.
I'm not sure if that ball was intended for Leggett or Musa right behind him. Either way, it didn't come out, but Dallas gets bailed out a little bit with the throw in.
Taken by Kamungo. Connect to pass, Bukhari back defending. Now Ramiro trying to clean it up. Last touch out off of the captain tonight, Ramiro. Be an Austin throw.
Those passing lanes aren't easy to find against Austin because they are pretty well organized. They're also a cohesive unit. You mentioned it in your lineup notes that this is the 4th game in a row where Austin has gone with the exact same starting lineup. So that means they understand what's going on around them, understand how the connection with each other are.
Zuni getting a talking to from Rondo Villarreal.
I didn't see the conflict point, did you?
Did not. the outside of our camera shot. Zuni, big personality, the Albanian, brought in as a designated player in the offseason for big money. Hasn't quite lived up to the price tag so far. 3 goals and 2 assists for $12 million.
Yeah, their struggles to score directly related to not a lot of production from their big money guys. And in Major League Soccer, you got to get the DPs right.
Colodi on the diagonal out towards Bernie Kamungo, headed out by Dessler. Throw-in taken by Abubakar down the line for Farrington, tiptoeing the touch line, and thought he won another throw, but instead it'll be Austin's way.
I agree with you.
Farrington on the counter press, trying to win it back once again, and thinks he should have the throw again. This one I'm not as convinced, but it was a quick opportunity for the makeup call if it was there.
I'm never of the belief that you should get too upset by a missed throw-in call. You're most likely to get it right back.
Unless you're Minnesota United, then you're losing out on a corner kick, essentially. Possession along the back line with Austin and Brendan Heinzike, 30-year-old who's really settled in as a starter for the first time in his MLS career in Austin, career high in pretty much every metric a season ago. Here's Pereira, loose touch in midfield. Peter Musa trying to fight to get onto it. Ramiro there as well. Pereira regains control of the situation, finds Rubio. Dessler will bring it up the near side. Dessler back once again to Ilie.
Good job there, Bernie Kamungo keeping Bakari in his cover shadow. It looked like that's where Pereira wanted to go, and I think he was trying to position. They do that a lot where they try to get Berkey isolated out there one-on-one.
Gide wins a header, sends it down the field, and Svatak will just retrieve possession. Steve, Austin quietly in a good run of form. 4 wins, 2 draws, and 1 loss in their last 7 games. They've had a nice run in terms of the schedule and the teams they've been up against, but they're still getting the job done and pushing into those playoff positions.
Yeah, they really had control of the game. That one of those draws, it was against Houston last week. They had a 2-0 lead, sort of lost control of the game. That sort of got the bad end of a sort of a questionable call, and that was a penalty kick, and turned into a nightmare where they lost a 2-goal lead and ended up drawing that one 2-2 against the Texas rival.
Dallas waits to take the throw in deep in their own territory. Back to Abubakar, who will send it long. Ilie wins the header. Brought down by Owen Wolf. Chipped ahead looking for Ozuni. Header won easily by Uragide. Put his whole body into trying to get the extra yard on that clearing header. Breaks Ribeiro.
Owen Wolf out there in the left wing for Austin. Seems like he's been around for quite a few years now, and he has, but he's still only 20 years old.
He brings the average age of this Austin lineup way down. You've got a ton of guys right on 30 or wrong side of 30, and then Owen Wolf at 20, and Bukari, Pereira in their mid-20s. Loose touch from Pereira, turns it over to Kappas, finds Leggett, back to Shaq Moore. Shaq Moore goes long and direct. Musa fighting with Svatak, who wins the header. Heinzike never quite been comfortable with the ball at his feet. He worked that one back to Brad Stuver. Dallas with a more experienced lineup tonight, bringing in Sebastian Leggett for Patrickson, Christian Kappas for Kaique. Their average age up to 27, across from them 29 for Austin. Didn't quite have time to do the math entirely, but I'd imagine that's one of the older lineups that Eric Will's put out this season. As Kappas is able to block the ball down the line, out for a throw.
Yeah, there's been a few games, but not that many that Abubakar and Ibiaga have started together, and even fewer that Abubakar, Ibiaga, and Leggett have started together, so you're right. All those guys 30 or over.
Swinging across the back line. Heinzike now on the dribble past Musa. And And out to Pereira. Some space here on the near side. Bukhari wide right. 1v1 here with Bernie Kamungo. Defeated Pereira, back to Dessler. Sliding tackle from Kamungo. And he got a piece of it, and then last touch came off of Pereira for a goal kick.
Good defensive start again tonight for Bernie Kamungo.
Well, it's interesting because it was Nico Esteves' idea first to put Bernie Kamungo out on the left wing-back position. When he made the shift to the 3-4-3 the offseason ahead of the 2024 campaign, it didn't quite work. We saw Seeley there as well at times. These attacking players he was trying to convert into the wing-back positions, but early returns under Eric Quill looked a little bit more stable for Bernie. If you could go in the mind of Nico Esteves, you wonder if he was targeting that matchup after watching Bernie's struggles in that position last year.
Well, they do that anyway. You know, they try to get, they want to get the ball to Bukhari out there. And actually, he's done a pretty good job of setting up chances. He's got six assists this year for a team that doesn't finish very well.
Farrington wins a 50-50. Dallas work it through tight spaces. Now find Musa, lifting it out to the far side for Shaq Moore. Bending ball in behind. Shaq's going to keep this one in play. Lifts it high and towards the back post. Farrington brings it down inside the box. Faces up his defender. Chipped it again towards the back post. Shaq Moore wins the first header back across. And Moore called for the foul. I guess he went up over the back, but kind of seemed like he just out-jumped Heinzike there.
That was a terrific ball a minute ago from Peter Musa. Just chipped in along the right side, right in the path for Shaq Moore. And I thought Shaq could have maybe hit an earlier cross. He let the ball bounce one more time, and then he sort of got himself in trouble and had to just float one into the back post. But nice ball there from Peter Musa.
Peter Musa absolutely loves a game against Houston, against Austin. 5 goals, 3 assists, and 7 against the Texas rivals.
Yeah, pretty good against Houston too, though.
Capitalized on a loose back pass last year from Sebastian Driussi to score early in the home game. Put a penalty away as well against Brad Stuvert. Here's Bukhari up the right side. Kamungo defending. Bukhari past Kamungo, got a piece of it, but not enough. Inside the 18 now, looking for space. Quick exchange with Rubio. Kamungo bites in and wins it, this time from Bukhari. And now Farrington can get things going the other way. Step over, blows past Ilie in open field. Now finds Sebastian Lletget out to the right side. Kappa's back to Ramiro. Time on the ball for the Dallas captain here in the 12th minute. Now he lifts it over the top for the run-up. Peter Musa unable to keep it under his control, and looks like he left early. In any case, the offside flag is up.
So a minute ago, the first time Austin has really sort of looked dangerous tonight, the 13th minute here. That was all about what I talked about, how Austin a little bit more now. They're going a little quicker, a little more direct. Little pass around the corner, big pass around the corner actually, into Bukhari. Gets isolated out there against Bernie Kamungo. Bernie Kamungo loses the first one-on-one battle, but then as Bukhari circulates back out, Bernie Kamungo gets even and nips that ball away from him.
Bureau, you go all the way back to Stuber here. I want to let you know that 2026 season tickets are on sale now. They're the best way to experience FC Dallas soccer, from discounts on concessions to exclusive membership experiences you can't get anywhere else. An FC Dallas membership is a must-have for any Dallas soccer fan. You can find the membership that's perfect for you at fcdallas.com/memberships. Dessler, a 30-year-old out of Denmark, down the line for Bukhari. Rubio to Ilie. Working the triangles here. The wing progression, as Nico Esteves frequently talked to us about in his time here in Dallas. Owen Wolf now on the far side. Bureau back to Pereira. Pereira has had an interesting time in this matchup over the course of his career. He's an original with Austin, so he's been here since the beginning. Sent off a couple of different times against FC Dallas. Will hold a strong standing in this rivalry all time. 7 wins, 2 draws, and 2 losses against Austin in regular season play. Bakari easily giving that one up to Lawless Abubakar. Farrington had really nowhere to go with the ball. Turns it over.
We can see it already. Dallas, when they get the ball on the right side through Leggett, if Kappas is over there, they're better able to keep possession as opposed to Bernie and Logan on the left side.
Austin heavily attacking down this right side towards Kamungo. Now they switch it over to the left. Biro bends the ball in behind towards the back post, and that evades everybody. Bakari lurking as the Brazilian whipped that one across the 6-yard box.
Ryan, I'll give you something to look for here, and the people watching at home, if they got us, listen to us, but watching the pictures there, Dallas is really conceding this area, giving it to Austin about 30, 40 yards out over on Bernie Kamungo's side. What they're doing is telling Bernie, you don't need to step into that spot. Dessler with the ball over there, 40 yards out, let him get his head up, let him look up there. You just stay back over there by Bakari, because we'd rather see you not let him get the ball there.
Leggett brings it down from the Kaloti goal kick. Now Musa out to Leggett once again. Nice touch on the turn, now into the middle. Fires it across at the back post, Shaq Moore. But he got the shot wrong, a tough one. But he couldn't get it on target. Great touch from Leggett in the build-up.
A good moment there from Leggett too, and seeing that space, that's a long way to go because he starts the position on the right. He's making the run all the way across the field. It's the second time I've seen him do that, but nobody's tracking that run. And that allows him to do something like he just did. Add the extra man over there, get free, and put a good cross front of goal from the left side.
Moment of danger there for Dallas. Now possession back with Austin. Shaq grabbing an important goal to kick things off in that big win at Inter Miami earlier in the season. Had another goal that's written down on my notes, but it's escaping me. If you can remember it, Steve.
Which one is that?
Shaq's second goal of the season.
Just the other night?
If you remember it, drop it in the YouTube chat if you're watching along here on the Burncast. Otherwise, if you can beat producer Sam Hale to it, you win. Austin in possession with Dessler.
I want to say the other night, I'm thinking one just not that long ago, right?
Struggling. It could also be a typo. Can't rule that out. As a whistle goes, foul against Ibiaga, top of the 18. Wolf dumped to the turf. It was a sort of broken play. Kappas and Ramiro both fighting for the same ball, and then Wolf decided he wasn't interested in going for the ball anymore and took a dive 20 yards from goal.
Yeah, I'm not sure how much contact there really was there.
He's massaging his face, his eye, maybe caught a stray finger, but it's in an attacking position. A lot of different Austin players in conversation with the ball in hand. Rubio, Zuni, Bakari. Attacking players as Dallas sets a very tall 4-man wall. Owen Wolf looking to join in.
Owen Wolf, even though he's young, he's had the ability to be a little bit of that antagonist.
Armando Villarreal sets the Dallas wall 1 yard further back. As Kaloti directs things from in between the sticks.
I'm looking at all that height in the Dallas wall and then Ramiro.
4 standing over it for Austin at the moment. Biro steps over it, back heel, now to Azuni from distance, and that one just wide. And Dallas really slow to react there, as with the touch, the wall could have charged and maybe got a block in. Instead, Kaloti had to give it a dive to his left.
It's kind of a mess on both sides, wasn't it? Dallas was slow to react, but Austin was slow to get the shot off.
Well, actually, they set a screen, didn't they, with their second wall? That's clever. Just nobody told Ilie, who took the shot, that it was coming. A lot of conversations in that 4-man huddle for nobody to be on the same page. As producer Sam Hale lets me know that Shaq scored against San Jose at home. I kind of blocked that one out, to be honest. Wasn't the best night. of the season.
Well, I knew it wasn't that long ago. I just couldn't remember which not long ago it was.
20th minute, scoreless in Austin. Dallas with a throw-in in the attacking third on this near side. Kamungo takes it into the chest of Kappas. Set back now for Farrington. Ibiaga out to Shaq Moore. Moore into Ramiro, trying to lift it out towards Leggett. Got the pass wrong. And the second ball header won by Ibiaga. And Pereira will put it out in front of Bukhari. And Boubacar gets his body in the way. Bukhari now on the dribble. No options though. Checks it back for Pereira. Dallas back in defensive shape.
I always like Ramiro more as sort of a conductor and a stay-at-home guy. When he tries, a couple of times tonight he's tried to make the big entry pass. He's just not as good at that.
Just a couple assists on the season. He's been a mainstay in midfield. Finds Ike standing on it. Musa a couple yards away. They recycle it once again through the back line. Dessler looking for the entry ball into Azuni. And he's held off there rather easily by Sebastian Ibiaga, all the way through for a goal kick.
I mean, how many times this year have we seen Osaze Urigide do that right there, where somebody makes a diagonal run, you find that space between the center back and the outside back over there, and it looks like they're about to get something going, and then Osaze just goes over there and absolutely chews it up. He's got the speed, he gets the position, just gets his body shape right, and that just turns into a big nothing burger for them.
It's been a feature for sure of the Dallas back line when he's been in there. Fighting for a ball here, brings it down on the halfway line. Urigide finds Kappas, and now goes on a drive up the middle of the field. Out to Farrington. Farrington past Ozuni. Farrington on the dribble now. To the box. Kappas was there for company, but those two couldn't connect. Ramiro on it. Osaze back to Ibiaga. Out to Shaq Moore. Urigide to Abubakar. And Kappas with some time in the midfield. Spotted the run of Shaq Moore. Didn't have time to get the pass away on the diagonal. Kappas, the Houston native, in midfield from the start for the first time. Here it is along the right side for Shaq Moore. Low ball sent in, and Stuber covers it up. He had to. Musa was there.
It looked like Musa was about to make a near post run, and then he sort of peeled back. We'll get another look at it here. And Shaq Moore read the near post run. Maybe he was just a little late on making the run, or Shaq was just a little early on making the pass, but really good dummy there by Leggett to help set Shaq Moore off running on the right side.
Dallas' best moments have all come through Sebastian Leggett. No surprise there. And for Patrickson from the start today, after a nice cameo off the bench against Portland a week ago. Ramiro out to Sebastian Leggett off the right side. Back for Ramiro. Ramiro down the line for Shaq Moore. First time ball, nobody there. Both Farrington and Musa too far away to receive it. Now Kappas with a hard tackle. And now a shove in the chest from Diego Rubio. And a yellow card to both Rubio and Kappas. I think that's the right decision from the referee. Kappas clearly trying to block the restart from being taken quickly, and Rubio taking offense to it.
I will say, though, he didn't block the restart. I'm not
sure Rubio ultimately didn't take it because he was too busy putting a wrestling move on Christian Kappas.
And Kappas needs to. I'm sure he's been briefed on, the refereeing in Major League Soccer. That is if you stop the restart, that's going to be a yellow card. If you kick the ball away, it's going to be a yellow card. So hopefully he's been briefed. I'm sure he has, and he's got that yellow card now. But again, we see it all the time where players stand in front, but unless you actually block the attempted quick free kick, they usually don't get a yellow card.
Certainly one of the gray areas of the game that has been enforced in a wide variety of ways across a wide variety of leagues.
Kind of tables turn there. It's usually you on the referees and me sort of taking the more balanced role. We sort of switched hats there, didn't we?
We did. Maybe we'll get a real hat. People can watch us on the Burncast.
Okay.
A PRO hat and then an MLS hat, maybe. We'll work on it. Ramiro, timing the ball in midfield, through the lines, looking for Farrington. Farrington at the edge of the box, just a yard too far, but it's behind for a corner as Fatak puts that one behind.
Okay, well, a minute ago I talked about not really enjoying Ramiro's work as a creative force, and that time he plays an absolutely pinpoint ball through, and Austin has to deal with it by conceding their first corner kick of the game.
I think they need some of that creativity from him. Maybe not every time. They need something through the middle of the field.
That's fair.
It's going to be Sebastian Leggett to take the corner from the far side. Swings it in towards Ibiaga. Under one by Heinzike. Second ball, one by Kappas, and a clear handball there. We should be going to the spot. The referee didn't see it. The Dallas bench is irate, and you have to imagine VAR is going to have a look, but for now it's Bukhari sprinting in behind at the other end. Azuni makes the run at the back post with a cross easily caught by Collodi. Dallas absolutely perplexed.
What Villarreal is going to say is that the hand was down there by his side, but I don't know.
Head height.
I think it's a handball as well. I'm just saying that there's enough doubt there that maybe he didn't see it or doesn't know what he saw and knows that they'll get in his ear if it was a clear and obvious error, but I think you're right.
They are holding it now. The VAR is Michael Radchuk back in Arlington. It's a big moment. The first goal in this game will be so pivotal. Musa scoring from the spot last year against Austin. Will he get an opportunity here? No. Wow. Wow. We haven't seen a good enough replay to give a second opinion, but in live time, it looked stonewall to me. And it kept the ball from getting to Ibiaga, who could have been in attacking position.
I'm in agreement with you. I think he's sort of making himself a little bit bigger. If DeGarma's just tucked in a little bit more, I think it's probably the right call, but it wasn't tucked in. It's not really in that natural position as the player's leaning back and he's got his arm extended, not fully, but it is out from his body.
Now Dallas needs to regroup as Bukhari brings it up the near side. Offside flag up against Dessler. And please, Apple TV producer man, show us another look at that, because I need to understand how we haven't at least had an on-field review.
I felt like that the view we got in live time, in real time, was actually the better look at it than the one they showed us on the replay.
Well, it'll be a footnote in this game's chapter now. As Collodi launches it long, the offside. Brought down by Leggett, not for the first time tonight. He lost control of it. Now Rubio asking for a yellow card, which is a yellow card by definition, and he should be seeing a second yellow if we want to go by the book.
I'm not sure what I'm not sure what he's signaling there. He's not doing the classic yellow card sign.
I thought I saw it at first, but maybe he quickly changed to try and realize what he'd done. The game losing a little bit of the flow and spicing up a little bit.
We're a half hour in, Ryan. Exactly 2 shots, 1 for each team. Not a lot. Not a lot of chances in this one.
I'd say Dallas probably had the better looks so far, but
such as they are,
there haven't been many.
Yeah, the ball that flashed across, served by Leggett from the left side, and then Shaq Moore, a couple of forays down the right side. That's been about it, though.
Dessler out to Bukhari. Back to Dessler. Might have the most touches of anyone out there for Austin tonight, the right back.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. They're just conceding that space. You see it right here if he gets the ball.
Out to Bukhari. Pereira making a move off the ball here. Whips the cross in, blocked by Abubakar. Out to Rubio. Dessler back for Svatak. Ukraine international. Representing the country at the Euro 2024. Zyke, the other center back, fires it out to the left side for Biro. Biro down the line for Wolf. Sanchez on the turn. Pereira looking for options. Just him and Stuver left from the original roster for Austin. Those two have been on the end of quite a few defeats to FC Dallas in their time.
Was Pereira not on the original roster?
He was, yeah.
That's what you said,
Stuver.
sorry.
Yeah. Now Rubio just going over there under some light contact from Lawless. There's not going to be a pro hat worn on this broadcast tonight. I can promise you that. As we head into the cooling break, 30 minutes in, still scoreless. Could have been different. Been headed to the penalty spot. But the next match, of course, for Dallas, one you don't want to miss. FC Dallas hosting LAFC on Saturday, August 23rd. You can watch Son Heung-min make his Texas debut and watch FC Dallas try and spoil it. Tickets are going fast. You can visit fcdallastickets.com for more. And if you're watching or listening on the Burncast on YouTube, get your comments in, what you want us to discuss at halftime. We'll pick somebody who drops a comment throughout the match to win a pair of tickets to that matchup against LAFC next weekend.
Now, something else to mention here, Owen Wolf is a good player, good young player. Might see him join the national team scene at some point, but he really hasn't had anything to say about this match. I think Austin is so concerned, so focused on attacking that other side, attacking Bernie Kamungo over there through Osman Bakari, that Owen Wolf has sort of been a passenger. Only 15 touches. Bakari on the other side has 22 touches, including a couple inside the penalty area.
A lot of energy from the Dallas coaching staff right now, giving instruction and hydration in this cooling break.
All that I said a minute ago hasn't turned into much for Austin. Really, Michael Colodi hasn't been extended at all tonight. Had to get out and sort of halfway dive for that one cross from Bakari as Dallas players were sort of still trying to recover from not getting that penalty kick call, and Bakari got free down the right side on the counter.
Well, Armando Villarreal made his way within shouting distance during this cooling break, so he was hearing it from a couple different members of the Dallas staff.
Got to be careful. Half that staff is sitting on the yellow card warning. 2 yellow card warning, though.
If there was ever a time to spend it, it's probably on the road in Austin. The one yellow card warning Dallas needs to watch out for in terms of the players on the field is Petar Musa, who's one away from a 1-game suspension. Just also 1 game without a yellow card away from taking one away from his disciplinary record. Big night in that regard for Petar Musa, although I'm sure it's not the #1 thing on his mind. This Wolf swings this in. First header won by Austin, second header won by Austin as well. Back across, Colodi and Kappas collide, eventually hooked clear. Wolf now on the right side after the set piece. Finds Pereira centrally. Jet defending, back out to Wolf. And to Pereira, well read that time by Kappas, makes the interception, now chips it down the line. The Jet gets his body in the way. No foul. Then with a lot more contact than Diego Rubio's received tonight. Nice footwork from Wolf up the right side, through the legs of Kappas, past Kamungo, whips the cross in towards the back post, and Shaq Moore with an important intervention to send it clear. Now a shot from distance from Biro, big save, Colodi. Tipped over the bar. Corner coming for Austin.
Well, Austin keeps trying to work their overload on that side. At that time, it did produce something as Owen Wolf got over there. I told you he wasn't getting much of the ball on the left side, so he gets over the right. And look at that, that's some really nice footwork by Owen Wolf. And Bernie Kamungo needs to be a little bit stronger in the tackle there. In the end, it's a shot from Biro that Michael Colodi's, looks like it handcuffs him a little bit. Ball probably had some movement on it, turns into another corner kick.
Biro does have an eye for goal. He scored in the last game with a header. He'll be amongst those challenging for this one. As Austin lines up the corner, Eric Ide and Heinz Zyke hotly contesting. And now Ozuni's taking a dive, and it's getting ridiculous, to be honest, from the Austin players. And now it's really kicking off between the two teams. Referee having a conversation with Ozuni and Urugide. And for me in this first half, Austin just looking for an opportunity to go down at any given moment.
Look, it's a big match. Talk about a 6-pointer. I didn't see any contact there.
That would be because there was none.
But Urugide's got to be careful there, as try to reach down, grab him, getting aggressive with referee Armando Villarreal.
And now Villarreal with sort of a shrug and a shake of the head to Ilie. I think Osaze has won the case on this one. Now Wolf will get a second chance at the corner. Goes short this time to Pereira on the corner of the 18. Back to Wolf with space to send this cross in. Bukari at the near post. And that one comfortably off target. One of the Austin players is upset and appealing for something away from the play.
Gonna have let him take a short corner that way. It's okay to defend with one, but you got to get that second defender over a little bit quicker, because that time Owen Wolf really did have time to get his head up and sort of pick out a cross.
Had Guilherme Biro to the list to take a dive in this first half. As Colodi will send this goal kick long. Musa and Biro go up for it. Biro wins the header. Runs out of play. Colodi now with 4 appearances on the season, 2 clean sheets, both of those in MLS play. Gives Dallas a different dimension at the back in terms of his distribution. There's a ball from Stuver, bad distribution from the Austin keeper, gives it away to Kappas in the middle of the field. Down the line now for Ramiro. Ramiro, cutback ball, finds Farrington inside the 18. He can't keep hold of it. Now Boubacar goes flying in, gets a foot on it, and now out to Shaq Moore. Nice touch from Musa. Moore towards the back post, and there's the opening goal. And the Dallas fans go crazy in the corner at Q2 Stadium. Shaq Moore's giving Dallas the lead here.
Well, when you can't clear it, you give teams a chance to do something. And Shaq Moore just showed you that you don't always have to hit a ball with a lot of power. Sometimes placement is just as important. Shaq Moore, kind of a awkwardly bouncing ball there. You almost think that Shaq Moore waited a little too long. Might have even been a little deflection in there, but Shaq Moore, I don't think he hits it all that clean, but he certainly picks out that back corner. As a result, Dallas has the first half lead.
Well, I'll tell you who took a really clean touch there, and that was Petter Musa with the assist. Brought it out of the sky, on the turn, settled it for Shaq Moore, all with one touch. And there's another goal contribution in the Copa Tejas game for Petter Musa, now up to 9 in 8 games. 3rd goal of the season for Shaq Moore. And I'm glad we cleared up his 2nd goal earlier in the half. As Michael Colodi takes a long ball down on the chest. Take a couple extra seconds now for Dallas to take a breath with the lead. Colodi's side-winding punt up towards Farrington. Dessler wins the header. Kamungo onto the 2nd ball. Leggett back heel back to Kamungo, and Dallas has a throw. Against Portland, we really saw the first goal settle Dallas into the game. I wonder if they can build that same kind of momentum, more hostile environment tonight.
Well, remember, Austin they just don't score very much at home. Only 10 goals in 12 games at home all year.
Here's a loose pass intended for Ramiro, picked off by Ozuni. A one-man attack is thwarted by Ramiro with a sliding tackle. 2nd ball picked up by Biro on the far side. Numbers streaming forward for Austin, streaming back for FC Dallas. Just about everybody back in the Dallas white and red tonight. Cross swung in, easily volleyed away.
Well, we saw it a lot last week. Ramiro just through the season getting better and better at really recognizing the real moments of danger and then finding a way to, make it happen defensively then. Saw it just a second ago, understanding the counterattack. The counterattack was getting dangerous, getting down on the ground. Really good, clean sliding tackle.
Bukari just gave up on the play there. I think he thought he was offside, but I don't believe he was. That'll be a Dallas throw. Let's get a look at the substitutes. A lot of options for Eric Quill tonight. We got Anderson, Julio, Dietzen, and Sam Sarver attacking possibilities with those three. Miro fighting for it on the edge of the Dallas box, and now Urquide will dribble it clear and win a foul from Rubio. Taste of his own medicine that time from Osaze, who knows how to play the game.
I mean, Austin has some agitators on their team. Diego Rubio is one of them. Owen Wolf, the best one out there is maybe Elias Sanchez. He's a little more clever about the way he does it.
Mentioned in the pregame, Rubio, good record against Dallas in his career. 7 goal contributions in 14 games. A couple different spells. His best came with Colorado back in 2022.
You mentioned Dallas having an older lineup. Speaking of older, Elias Sanchez, 34 years old. See how long he can go tonight.
Nice ball from Ibiaga. Springs Farrington up the left side. Up against Dessler. Finds Musa for support. Chipped in behind for Kappas. Towards the byline. Set back for Kamungo. Whips the cross in. Looking for Musa. Headed away at the near post. Straight up in the air though. Now Leggett brings it down with the first touch. Going to flick it over his head. Cleared away by Austin, recovered by Osaze.
I like that early cross from Bernie Kamungo. Did a good one too.
Kappas telegraphed ball, now ball in behind Osaze and Azuni in a foot race, and it's not a fair race, Steve. It's not fair at all.
It's just what we talked about a while ago. He gets the angle right and he's got the speed, and it just, you said it right, it's not even fair.
Another mistake though, it turned over to Azuni. Kolodi, huge save coming out and sliding to make himself big. The offside flag went up, but don't forget about that save from Michael Kolodi.
Mark it down, 42nd minute. That was a big moment from FC Dallas's backup to Martin Paz, having to play now perhaps for the rest of the season.
Well, that's 3 straight mistakes. Dallas not punished. They need to find a way to settle things down and get into halftime with this advantage.
But that's the story of Austin's season, isn't it? They can't finish.
Kolodi plenty behind this one, and Leggett challenging for it.
I mean, it doesn't help when your DP striker, Brandon Vasquez, goes down with a season-ending injury, but it's not like he was exactly lighting it up. Just 5 goals before he went out injured.
Jack Moore, the goal scorer. One of the free kick, nothing given, turns possession over to Biro on the halfway line. Now space for Dessler, out to Bukari. Dessler goes on the overlap, whips the low ball in, defended at the near post by Abubakar. And Pereira shot from distance, blocked by Ramiro, behind for a corner, and Dallas reeling a little bit here.
Well, another moment there where Austin going a little more direct is really their better approach tonight, but Dallas doing a pretty good job of closing down passing lanes early in the midfield and not letting them go direct.
Ramiro, who was the one that blocked the shot, taking a moment on the ground. Maybe some of that wisdom coming through, realizing the team needs a breather, needs to get to halftime here. 2 minutes plus stoppage time to go. There will be a few added on for the hydration break. Corner from the far side for Owen Wolf to take. Whipped in, inside the 6. Kolodi with the big punch away.
He is just not afraid to get out there and mix it up in traffic, is he?
And listed at 6 foot. And I love Michael Kolodi. That might be generous.
Maybe on a good day.
He's been having those good days recently. But he controls the penalty area a la Nick Raimondo, even at the shorter stature. Here's a giveaway on the halfway line. Musa, they combined with Leggett after the mistake from Svatak, but not quite on the same page.
I mean, Musa he's just got to get out on the run there. He doesn't need to check back for that ball, and that's where Leggett wanted him running.
Wolf receives it on the far side. Combination with Biro. Final minute of the 45. Biro sends the cross in deflected and behind for another corner. You can hear the crowd at Q2 rising to their feet behind the goal, looking for an equalizer here before the halftime break. Two arms raised this time for Owen Wolf, something different in the corner. This one, again, right into the waiting arms of Michael Collodi, who comes out this time to catch. And if they were looking for something different, Wolf offered up the same dish. One homegrown, the Austin side to Collodi, the homegrown in net for Dallas. 4 minutes added on here in the first half. Collodi goes long, the Jet fighting for it, goes down, nothing given. Referee hasn't really taken the bait at all from Sebastian Lletget tonight, even when there's been real contact. Wolf brings it forward on the far side. Back for Heinz Ike. To Bukhari, 1v1 here with Kamungo. For Dessler. And Bukhari again.
I think Nico Estevez is over there looking at this and saying, my heavens, how did they turn Bernie Kamungo into a good defender?
I'm not going to jinx anything just yet. Pereira sends this one in, header at the back post. Biro was directing that one goalwards. That's how he scored last week against Houston, but it was blocked, I think, by a teammate. Austin's kept possession here as we played 1 of 4 added on. Bukhari central now, out to Dessler. Bukhari in a little bit of a different spot, 1-2 with Pereira, and Kamungo steps in, well-timed intervention. Now Dallas can run the other way. Farrington up the left. Gets his body in the way, skips past Ilie. Now ball in behind for Petr Musa. Full sprint to try and keep this one in play. And Svatak just threw his body in the way and won the foul. You know, Musa has a really high top speed. He's actually listed in the numbers that we have access to as the fastest player on the team, along with Bernie Kamungo at his top speed. But acceleration has maybe not been there tonight for him in those moments when the game's been stretched.
And maybe he's carrying a little bit of an injury, and maybe he's afraid to sort of put it in 5th gear. I'm not sure, but I agree.
2 minutes of 4 added on have been played here at Q2. Dallas in front 1-0 in first half stoppage time. Wolf to Rubio, central position, top of the box, wide for Dessler. Dessler chipped ball in towards the back post. Nobody there for Austin. Awkward one for Shaq Moore. Didn't know he had time, but he and Lletget worked it clear.
A lot of feeling of just hanging on right now for FC Dallas, isn't there?
I feel a lot better if it was the 92nd minute of 94. Here's Ozuni inside the box, set back for Rubio. Shot stings the palms of Michael Collodi, but he's equal to the effort.
Well, Collodi wasn't busy for the first 30 minutes, but lately, especially since Shaq Moore's goal in the 38th, he's got a little bit of work to do.
Trying to nurse this final minute of the first half. Launches it long, Musa brings it down, sets it for Lletget. On to Farrington. Farrington into Ramiro. Space here for the Brazilian. To the lines, finds Farrington, chipped up, looking for Musa, got it wrong. Now Biro will dribble it clear. With a hopeful ball ahead to nobody in particular. Turns it over back to the Dallas side. 20 seconds remaining. Out to Kamungo. Cutback ball for Kappas. Dallas finally with some possession as this half ticks away. Content with taking the lead given to them by Shaq Moore into the halftime break, and they will do so 1-0. Musa sets up Shaq Moore for the only goal. And Steve, that one got a little testy towards the end of the first half, but at the end of the day, Dallas works it into the break with the advantage, and that's huge for this one.
Yeah, low event half, only 6 shots for the home team, only a couple for the road team, Dallas, but they have the one that counts.
We'll talk about it on the halftime show. Get your comments in if you're watching along on YouTube, and let us know what you want us to talk about as we break down the first 45 minutes in which Dallas leads 1-0 from Q2 Stadium. You're listening to FC Dallas Soccer, presented by Toyota on the FC Dallas Radio Network.
So, what'd you do this weekend?
Well, just took the Tacoma off-road, deep into the woods, got to this hidden campsite only it could reach.
Nice. I hooked up the boat to the Tundra and hit up the lake. Towed it like a pro. Had the whole lake to ourselves.
Hey, wait, did I mention I went rock climbing too? Uh-huh, yeah, thanks to the Tacoma's crawl control.
Well, sounds like we both had fun weekends.
Mine was better.
The Toyota Tundra and Tacoma are built for all the fun. Test drive at your local Toyota dealer or visit Toyota.com today. Toyota, let's go places. Feature availability differs based on trim. See Toyota.com for details.
UT Southwestern Medical Center in Dallas, Texas, where discoveries change lives. The spark of collaboration that fuels bold thinking in our labs. The spark of inspiration that motivates greatness in the next generation. And the spark of innovation that pushes the boundaries of today's care. At UT Southwestern, teamwork and talent combine to fuel discovery, education, and healing. UT Southwestern. The future of medicine sparks here.
In sports, if you think joy only happens after you win, think again. Look at the world's most successful athletes like Serena Williams, Brooks Koepka, and Alex Morgan. They don't spend all their days grinding away. They take time to enjoy themselves, like getting together with friends over a Michelob Ultra, because they know that happiness is the key to winning, and that joy is the whole game, not just the end game. Michelob Ultra. 95 calories, 2.6 grams of carbs. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. AB Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Hi everyone, it's Petar Musa and you're listening to FC Dallas Soccer on the FC Dallas app.
After 45 contentious minutes at Q2 Stadium, it's FC Dallas 1, Austin FC 0, as Copa Tejas, playoffs, everything you can think of is in the balance tonight. Welcome to the FC Dallas Halftime Show, brought to you by your local Toyota dealer, Toyota. Let's go places. Also brought to you this evening by Advocare, building champions together. I'm your host, Sam Hale. I'll be joined in just a moment by the voices of tonight's matchup, Figert and Steve Davis. But let's start with our halftime highlights. There wasn't many highlights in this one until the 37th minute. A turnover by Austin led to an interesting sequence by Dallas, and then FCD taking the lead.
Ramiro, cutback ball, finds Farrington inside the 18. He can't keep hold of it. Now Abubakar goes flying in, gets a foot on it, and now it's to Shaq Moore. Nice touch from Musa. Moore towards the back post! And there's the opening goal! And the Dallas fans go crazy in the corner at Q2 Stadium. Shaq Moore's giving Dallas the lead here.
Shaq Moore's third goal of the season made it 1-0 FCD in the 37th minute, and that is where the score stands at halftime. Let's bring you tonight's halftime stats, which are brought to you by UMB Bank. The Verde lead the possession battle 69-32, or 69-31, mind you. 6 shots for Austin, 2 of those on goal. 2 shots for FCD, 1 of those on target. 3 corners for the home side, 1 corner for the visitors. You've got 2 saves from Michael Collodi, no saves from Brad Stuver. 7 fouls for Dallas, a yellow card handed out. That went to Christian Kappas. 1 foul for Austin and 1 yellow card that went to Diego Rubio at the exact same time. As we bring in the commentary team for tonight's game, it's Steve Davis and Ryan Figert. And Steve, overall, we kind of expected a bit of a monkey knife fight here, because it always is when you throw out the records in Austin. This is always a contentious game. It's always a heated game. And while Dallas does have the lead, this is not a game that you would necessarily call pretty after first 45.
Sam, what did you call it? A monkey knife fight?
That's a nice Simpsons reference for anyone who's watching.
Okay, I didn't know about that. Yeah, no, it hasn't been an aesthetically pleasing game necessarily. But look, what do we expect? Dallas, we know they have that dog mentality on the road. They want to muck it up a little bit. Austin, they played 12 games at home. They've only scored 10 goals at home. So, Dallas was actually probably the more likely team to score based on the fact that they've got, 20 goals on the road, and they got the goal when it mattered. Austin's had more possession, but until the 30-minute mark, or really the 36-minute mark, or 38, when Moore scored the goal, they really didn't do that much with it. After that, they got a little bit more aggressive, and Dallas had more defending to do. But I don't know, if you're Dallas, you're in this playoff push. You're trying to get there, not miss the playoffs for a second year in a row. You don't care about how pretty it is. You got a 1-0 lead, and now you got to find a way to do the same thing in the next half, win the next half, and you've won the game.
As I used to say many times in previous half times, the only stat that matters is the one on the scoreboard. Dallas currently leads that one. And, Ryan, the way they got that goal was very much a symptomatic goal of this particular rivalry. Brad Stuver doesn't distribute quite as well. There's a turnover. Dallas is able to do a little something with it. But I want to ask you, what do you think was more impressive, Shaq Moore being able to finish that ball into the net, or the ball that Petar Musa gave him that allowed him to finish the goal?
I mean, for such a powerful number 9 that Petar Musa is, he has a pillow soft touch, and then we've seen it at his ability to play provider. A lot of times in MLS, your assist number can get really inflated by secondary assists. You sort of pass to a guy who then makes a really nice ball, and then every single one of Petar Musa's assists this year have been primary assists. He's up to 6 now on the season. He's added that dimension to his game. I think his awareness of the situation around him, knowing that Shaq Moore is the open man, but then having the ability also to execute. It's a great finish from Shaq. He picks out the corner well, but it's not possible if Petar Musa doesn't put it right on a platter for him. So I think I could go Musa there. Give me the assist over the goal on that one.
No, and I think you make a good point to draw a circle around that awareness, because what happens is the ball, as Austin can't clear it, Abubakar comes in and creates a situation where with that little counter press action, but the ball pops way up in the air. So Musa's really got to watch that ball. It's spinning. He never really, I've watched it now a couple of times, he never really glances over his shoulder. He's got the awareness to know that Shaq Moore is out there, so he's got to watch the ball as it's looping down, and then it's a really difficult skill as the ball comes down in front of him, but he's got to sort of play it out of the air in behind him, puts it just in a perfect spot for Shaq Moore. A couple little bounces there, so Shaq Moore lets the ball settle a little bit and then puts it past Stuver at the far post.
I'll tell you what, this is such a high-level play for Petar Musa. I mean, we can go on and on about it, but he actually does. If you watch the highlight back, if you go over to Twitter or Instagram, wherever it's posted,
now.
He checks his shoulder so quickly while the ball's in the air, maintaining his focus on the ball, still getting the perfect first touch, but being able to spot Shaq Moore on the weak side there, wide open behind him. So just an incredibly high-level play. I mean, for any young player watching, that's exactly what you have to do. Have the awareness, check your shoulder, and then be able to make the play.
All you have to know there, you're right, I can see it there. That's a good eye by you. Good point out. But as he sort of just glances, all you have to do is just see that little bit of white over there, and so you get the idea. Maybe he knows it's more, maybe he doesn't. It doesn't matter, though. He sees over his shoulder, okay, there's a white shirt over there somewhere, and if I can put the ball into this space, we've got a good chance of getting something on goal.
Yeah, and credit to Shaq Moore as well. Now 3 goals on the season. Obviously a huge one in Miami, helping the team to that 4-3 win. The one that we forgot about at home against San Jose, and that game didn't go quite as well. But I think he's brought a real attacking push down the right side. He had a couple of good balls swung in, and he's given them the width. He's given them the up and down game as well, getting back against Bureau. So good half from Shaq Moore, capped off with the goal.
Let me say one more thing about this goal, Sam, because this is important. I mentioned a while ago that Sebastian Lletget is setting up in this 3-4-3 as sort of the right-sided player, the same area that Patrick Delgado was occupying before. And in that spot, he has some license to move around. Well, he's coming all the way across the field. I said it a while ago. He's coming all the way across the field to the left side, sort of. It's not really, to me though, it doesn't look like he's trying to create the overload in there. He's just trying to give Austin something to think about. He's trying to make that run hard to track. But what else does it do? It leaves that space available for Shaq Moore. I think he's trying to sort of open up space for Shaq Moore, and that's why as he gets that ball from Petar Musa, he's got nobody over there on him. He's got no contest, no contention on the shot, because again, Lletget has moved all the way across the field diagonally, sort of dragging a defender over there, leaving Moore alone on that side.
Before we get to second half adjustments here, I want to shout out some folks in our Burncast chat who have been chatting in all day. Big shout out to David Charles, who says, I'm 9. I love FC Dallas. Let's go Dallas forever. Absolutely. We've also got Ross Garrison, who's been in there quite a bit. He also had a very good comment. Shaq Moore's last goal was about 30 seconds ago as we were trying to figure it out. Very cheeky, sir. A point for you. Zorak Anonymous, who says he's at the game. He's scared of heights, but he's a supporter. He wants this win. As a fellow person who's also scared of heights, more power to you,
Way
sir.
to take one for the
Lock
team.
in, man. Cheer loud in the second half.
Yeah, they're going to need it. And I want to start here with start our second half discussion with something Ben Funch said. Looks like the coaching staff and players took advantage of the last few weeks to get on the same page about how Quill wants this team to play. So let's carry that into our second half adjustments, because this has been a very good team on the road as we have a couple minutes here. And they're going to have to really bear down and show the grit and tenacity that Quill wants. But so that's going to be, they probably can't beat everyone on the field. So, Ryan, I'll start here with you. If there's going to be a change you'd like to see based on the first 45 to carry this through, who would it be and why?
I wouldn't start with personnel. I think when they go into the halftime and they have the opportunity to take a breath, they were under pressure for the final 10, 15 minutes of that half. I think they have to prioritize possession because they can't hold on for 45 minutes. They need to find outlets and they need to find moments just to rest on the ball. They finally got it with about 30, 40 seconds left, and they were able to see out the half in that way. But Kappas was brought into the team for his ability in possession. I think he's been a little loose with the ball. I don't think he's really done that job so far tonight. Can he raise his level in the second half? Ramiro has looked good, and he's actually found some good entry balls forward, but is he looking too vertical at times? Can he just play a little more patient, like we see on the Austin side with someone like Ilya Sanchez, knowing when to go and when to slow down the play? I think Dallas going really direct on the counterattack, and that their ability to keep the ball is suffering because of that. So for me, as long as you're holding the lead, I want to see a little bit more from the team in possession.
Steve Davis, your thoughts on the second half?
Yeah, look, I agree with everything you just said. What I would say about Kappas is I feel like he's had some good moments of possession. Can he be a little bit more consistent? And generally, when the ball has been on the right side with Kappas, with Leggett especially, and Shaq Moore, the possession just looks a little more stable to me than it does on the other side when Bernie Kamungo. It looks like they're sort of establishing possession on the right side, and then they sort of attack more on the left, try to maybe move possession down to the left and get Shaq Moore isolated as they get further down the field on the right. But if he could just be a little bit more consistent in his possession, because he has had some good moments with the ball, Kappas has.
And I think we absolutely see a speedster off the bench at some point. It could be any of the three of them. It could be Julio, Dietzen, or Sarver, but I think I want to attack Bureau, the left back for Austin. He's more of an attacking-minded defender. There's going to be space in behind, and Logan's sort of occupying the left side. If we can get somebody in the game, whether Austin ties it up, I think that'd be the first place I would go if they get the equalizer. But even if you want a goal to try and kill this one off on the counter, bring some speed in on the right side.
I'm going to call my shot now. I want about 15 minutes of Sam Sarver in there agitating every Austin player to death from 75 on. Just to give them a taste of their own medicine. Maybe put him and Farrington together and just let the defense deal with that. Just
best
annoyance.
Taste you can give them is the result, though.
I strongly agree with that, and Dallas currently holding the result 1-0 over Austin at halftime. Again, keep your comments coming on the Burncast. Winner tonight, best comment, gets 2 tickets to next week's home game against LAFC as a big name comes to town for the black and gold there. But that's going to do it for the halftime show. When we return, Ryan and Steve get you ready for the second half. This is FC Dallas Soccer presented by Toyota on the FC Dallas Radio Network.
UT Southwestern Medical Center in Dallas, Texas, where discoveries change lives. The spark of collaboration that fuels bold thinking in our labs. The spark of inspiration that motivates greatness in the next generation. And the spark of innovation that pushes the boundaries of today's care. At UT Southwestern, teamwork and talent combine to fuel discovery, education, and healing. UT Southwestern, the future of medicine sparks here.
Welcome to the world of WinStar, the casino of FC Dallas, where 10,000 electronic games plus roulette, craps, and blackjack is just the beginning. Get lost in our 2-story luxury spa. Enjoy 36 holes of championship golf and catch the biggest names in music and comedy at the spectacular Lucas Oil Live, all just 1 hour north of DFW. So come live in the wow at the world of WinStar.
Want to hear something incredible? That's Eleanor. Just 10 hours after being born, Eleanor was airlifted to Children's Health and met by our expert team trained in cardiac and critical care. At 4 days old, she received a stent to help her heart pump blood to the rest of her body. And today, she's a happy, healthy 1-year-old. That's incredible. That's Children's Health. Incredible together.
So, what'd you do this weekend?
Well, just took the Tacoma off-road, deep into the woods, got to this hidden campsite only it could reach.
Nice. I hooked up the boat to the Tundra and hit up the lake. Towed it like a pro. Had the whole lake to ourselves.
Hey, wait, did I mention I went rock climbing too? Uh-huh, yeah, thanks to the Tacoma's crawl control.
Well, sounds like we both had fun weekends.
Mine was better.
The Toyota Tundra and Tacoma are built for all the fun. Test drive at your local Toyota dealer or visit toyota.com today. Toyota, let's go places. Feature availability differs based on trim. See toyota.com for details.
Hi everyone, it's Paxton Palmacal, and you're listening to FC Dallas Soccer on the FC Dallas app.
Well, there will be a personnel change at halftime for Eric Quill. I can't imagine it's one he wanted to make. Petter Musa coming off the field here at halftime. Anderson Julio in to replace him, obviously offering pace in behind and a different dynamic, but losing your number 9 here in a game in which he's had so much success, a matchup where he has been absolutely dominant. You have to imagine there's some kind of issue there as we are back underway for the second half. Michael Colodi launching it long, and Logan Farrington now, of course, leading the line as the target to aim at. Kappas whips it out towards Kamungo. And Steve Davis losing Petter Musa, not something we expected for Dallas. See how they can react. Here's Farrington on the turn, looking to feed it through for Leggett. Breaks back to him. Now Kamungo. Kamungo for the cross, blocked out for a corner. Sorry, for a throw near the corner flag.
Yeah, but they do have Logan Farrington, as you just said, to at least sort of play into. He's got a similar profile to Petter Musa. And I got to say, you know, we both observed that maybe Petter Musa just had a little bit of an injury because he just didn't look like he wanted to hit top gear.
Here's Julio's first involvement. Julio along the right side. Cutback ball. Kappas had a chance from the top of the box. Didn't get all of it. Didn't really even get a shot away in the end. But a strong opening minute here for our FC Dallas. And Ramiro trying to keep the pressure on. Jack Moore whipping this one in. Headed away at the near post by Heinz Ike. And then Ibiaga's want to throw. Keeping this one in the attacking third.
Anderson Julio, good early moment there as he was walking the tightrope there on the end line. Put in a really good cutback ball for Kappas, who just did one of those things where the ball just got caught up on his feet as he tried to get the shot off.
Farrington receives it from the throw. Turns past Heinz Ike with ease. Farrington looking for a lane to shoot. Ilie pokes it away. Jack Moore wide right. Kappas ahead to Leggett. Moore pins this ball in behind. Ramiro advanced up the right side. Sends the cross and now breaks for Shaq Moore again. The chance with the shot over the bar.
It wasn't a good angle, but that ball was just set up so nicely for Shaq Moore as Ramiro got into the action of well up the field. Put a ball across that bounced away from goal and was just rolling right at Shaq Moore at about 10 yards out. He just didn't get the accuracy on it.
It's one of those, I think he was trying to aim high at the near post, and it's what you're taught to do. Low to the back post, high to the near post. If you miss aiming for that near post, sometimes it looks like you missed by a lot. The speed of Anderson Julio making a spark here in the opening couple minutes. Losing the quality of Petter Musa, who exits after 45 with an assist to his name. But can't keep his scoring streak against Austin going. Possession here for the home side. Pereira out to Wolf. Austin and Nico Estevez unchanged coming out for the second half. Wolf up against Sebastian Leggett. Drop of the shoulder from Wolf. Now puts it in behind for Pereira. Caught up under his feet, and Ramiro does well to tackle it away.
Again, Ramiro just really good at recognizing the moments of danger and sort of kicking it into a higher gear on the defensive action.
Boubacar into the feet of Julio. Got there first, then a heavy touch. Quickly restored by Ramiro, who goes long in behind for the run of Kamungo. If he can keep this one in play, it was a good opportunity. He does, but the impetus gone for the attack. Now he's one-on-one with Dessler. Thought Kamungo might be able to receive that on an angle to get in behind, but he had to check back and avoid it going out instead. But another good forward pass from Ramiro to spring the attack. Here he is on it once again. It's looked a level up since first wearing the captain's armband last week. Receives it from Shackmore on the turn in the middle, back to Urigide. Ibiaga to Leggett on the turn. Out to Shackmore. Pokes it in behind for Sebastian Leggett up the right side. Targets to aim at, whipped in right towards Brad Stuver, who makes the easy catch.
A good combination play all the way down the field, and Leggett just got the cross in from the right side, a little too close to Brad Stuver.
Would have been nice to have a Moose to aim at. That kind of space to cross. There's a ball in behind looking for Ozuni. Colodi out off his line. He's going to shield this one over the line for a goal kick. And you love to see that confidence from Michael Colodi.
Again, I'll say it, the confidence starts with aggressive, high starting position. And what happens there is Ibiaga and Urigide are both giving chase. All of a sudden, there's a big purple shirt coming out of nowhere. But that's because it's Michael Colodi. He's got that aggressive starting position, a little bit further up the field, and he's able to get out, get that ball, screen it, just watch it go out harmlessly for a goal kick.
He launches it long. Farrington will be the target. He's going to carry the load of those situations in the second half with no Musa out there to switch off with him. Banging bodies with Pereira. And he commits the foul, then he's dumped to the turf after the whistle.
He just fouled Pereira. I don't think Pereira has to come back and push him down, but no harm there.
Bakari towards the corner flag on the far side for Austin. Back for Dessler, first time cross into the danger area. Back post header is past Colodi, off the bar and in. The equalizing goal from Owen Wolf.
Wow, it's a pretty harmless little cross that just popped up in the air. I think Shaq Moore maybe just has to be a little stronger defending at the back post. It's Owen Wolf who's just a little bit more aggressive there, attacking that ball. Leaving Michael Colodi no chances. Owen heads that one in off the crossbar at about 6 yards.
Still haven't seen how Bakari found the space. I wonder if there was any hint of offside in it.
No, he's back behind him. Shaq Moore has position. He just got to be a little bit stronger. And, maybe Owen Wolf gets into his back a little bit.
I've seen that called the foul in the first half in a different situation. There's a lot of contact. It was Shaq Moore himself, wasn't it? He jumped up over his man to win the header. Well, penalty decision harshly went against Dallas in the first half, and that one maybe a 50-50 as well. They'll have to pick themselves up 7 minutes into the second 45. Now a new ball game. And credit to Dessler for the cross as well.
They're taking a look at it.
Looks like they will have a look. But the cross from Dessler, we talk about Colodi and his ability to punch and claim the ball in the air from across. That one was just a really nice cross, dipping in at the right time as the goal is confirmed. And it's a new ball game as Colodi launches it long. Dessler to Wolf. And Dallas without Petar Musa. Trying to fight back in the second half. Here's Wolf in a central position. Pereira out to Biro. Shaq Moore steps in the way and makes the interception. Shaq Moore just slide tackled away by Pereira. It's breaks for Sebastian Leggett. Now on a sprint up the right side. Leggett takes the space afforded to him, but again, just too close to Stuver with the cross.
Leggett just ran about 70 yards and did a really great job of, staying ahead of the pursuing Pereira there. And just again, second time he's just getting those crosses a little too close to Brad Stuver. He did have Logan Farrington making a near post run.
Back with Bakari on the far side. One-on-one with Kamungo, sticks a leg out, wins the tackle again. Not for the first time tonight. Bernie's been up to the task. Julio holding out Dessler, looking for somewhere to go with it. Back to Abubakar, under pressure. Nice footwork there from Lawless. And now sends it clear. Svatak and Farrington tangle for it. Yellow card is out for Pereira for the slide tackle on Shaq Moore.
Yeah.
And that's fair play to the referee there. Didn't let it go. Pereira's got a short memory. He's totally forgotten about it. Can't seem to figure out why the yellow card came out.
Yeah, Shaq Moore tackled the ball right at the edge of the penalty area. It popped way out wide on the right side. He beat Pereira to it, and as he got around him, Pereira sort of took him off the ball. But Villarreal correctly let play go on because Sebastian Jet picked it up and was off running down the right side.
Sanchez brings it up to the middle of the field unopposed. Kessler out to Bukhari. Bukhari pokes it in behind for the run of Uzuni. Flag stays down. I thought he came from an offside position. He's pursued by Urquide all the way. As he drops it back now through to Sanchez. Zyke to Biro. Biro whips the left-footed ball in, a dangerous one towards the back post now. Bukhari. Nobody on either side getting a convincing touch. Eventually it's behind for a goal kick. This Dallas back line has been so good at defending crosses since they made the formational switch to have 3 center backs in there. Just conceded the header to Owen Wolf, and that was another moment where they didn't quite look at their best.
So Rubio and Pereira now carrying yellow cards for home team. Christian Kapp has got that 23rd minute yellow card for FC Dallas.
Colodi goes long. Ilie throwing his body into it, and he's come out worse for wear here. I don't think there was a foul, but the referee's going to stop it to check on him. He's going to have to re-tie the hair up for sure either way. Just launching himself over the back of Ramiro.
Oh, he came down, yeah, he came down hard. And
it doesn't quite feel the same at 34 years old that it did maybe in his
I don't know,
20s.
he hit his head out of the ground pretty hard, so I don't think that felt very good even when I was 10 years old.
He's back to his feet, and he'll play on wearing the armband for Austin.
That guy's been so durable, even though he's a little bit older. He's made every start the last couple of years for LAFC.
Urquide lifts it out to Shaq Moore. Dallas in their defensive half here. 56th minute, tied up at 1 in Austin. Colodi, the ball at his feet. Haven't seen a ton of that. Dallas have definitely run more direct tonight on the road. Out to Ramiro. Ramiro ahead for Leggett. Had time to receive it, but didn't take it cleanly. A rare mistake there. And then Ramiro commits the foul against Pereira.
Well, we'll try to take the free kick quickly, but it was about 10 yards advanced and still rolling.
Interesting, Steve, to get your thoughts on Julio. Looks like he's playing through the middle with Farrington spending most of his time out on the left side like he did in the first half.
I think it's a little fluid, but you're right. I expected to see him a little bit more of Farrington centrally and Julio on the wing.
Bukhari, some space here, looking to get to his left foot. On the dribble from outside to end, finds Pereira. Pereira spots Dessler on the far side inside the 18, digs this cross out over everybody's head. Wolf retrieves it at the back post, just inside the box on the near side. Right-footed ball sent in, headed away by Urquide, helped on by Ramiro. Julio helping out defensively, will pursue here. It's with Ilie in the middle of the field.
You heard a little shout there. The crowd got a little excited because there was some contact between Shaq Moore and I believe it was Rubio.
Wide with Bukhari once again. Head up. Doesn't spot anything he likes. Sees 3 defenders here. Ilie back out wide. Ball whipped in low, headed away by a stooping Abubakar. And Julio sends 2 Austin players to the turf with a nice turn, but can't keep possession.
Looks to me like Austin has sort of emphasized early crosses, and it paid off on the goal.
Julio leveled Biro away from the play. He may well see a yellow card at the next stoppage. Austin in possession here as we played just about an hour in Central Texas. Swatak chips it ahead. Nobody in particular. It's intercepted by Shaq Moore, who will go long and direct. He used the speed of Julio at the first contact, but Swatak got the body in the way. Zyke into midfield. Rubio dropping in to receive. Feed the ball in behind for Bukari. Kamungo makes the interception. Now nobody going to close down Bernie Kamungo. He's on the dribble here through the middle of the field. Bernie Kamungo out wide left for Logan Farrington into the 18. Options arriving here for Dallas. Poked back for Anderson Julio. In towards Bernie Kamungo, edge of the D. Going to keep this attack alive, but eventually crowded out. And now a foot race the other way. Bukari and Abubakar. Bukari's got the burners on. Abubakar back defending, waiting for reinforcements. Bukari to the touchline, cuts back, goes down, and waved up by the referee with some serious vigor.
waved up emphatically. I think that was the right call too. Villarreal telling him, don't try that. But on the other end, Ryan, somebody on Dallas's attacks you got to be a little bit more aggressive there. They've got to take the action and not be afraid to make the mistake.
Game stretched here for the moment. Bernie Kamungo, a big part of that.
A minute ago, you could tell Diego Rubio wanted to foul Bernie Kamungo, but he was carrying that yellow card.
Gide out to Moore. The Jet. Kappas centrally. Wide again to Shaq Moore. And for the Jet to U.S. International at right back for Dallas. They'll swing it here across the center backs. With the Regide in the center circle. Moment of possession here for Dallas. Just to rest with the ball. Regide trying to go into the feet of Leggett. That one intercepted by Wolf. Dallas needs to get numbers back. Ilie spots Dessler on the far side. Kamungo in retreat. Abubakar out to close him down. Cutback ball, top of the 18. Azuni leaves it for Pereira, who wasn't expecting it. And he wanted a whistle for Kappas defending there from the backside. Not nearly enough for a foul. But Dallas looking tired to me at the moment. Azuni looking like very unconfident forward. The DP, the number 10, don't leave that inside the 18-yard box, rolling nicely for a shot. And Austin, after a decent start to the half for Dallas since the goal, Austin definitely in the ascendancy. And if you're just joining us here in the second half, Petter Musa off at the halftime break for Anderson Julio. We don't have any information on that, but you don't think that was a planned change.
But I think you're right. Sebastian Leggett, 32 years old. Wonder how much gas he's got left in the tank. He's done a lot of work. Kappas hasn't had a lot of action. His first start for FC Dallas.
Pereira looking for a cross towards the near post. It looks like that one ran out for a goal kick. Well, don't miss the FC Dallas Rewind on KDFI More 27 every Tuesday night during the regular season at 7 p.m. You can watch FC Dallas Soccer for free on KDFI More 27. This free over-the-air channel is available everywhere in the DFW market.
I just saw a replay of the moment a minute ago when Bakari got off and running down the right side against Lalos Abubakar, isolated out there. Abubakar did a really good job of delaying him and just holding him up and not letting Bakari get by him until he could get some defensive reinforcements around him.
Sabovic in for Rubio. Delgado in on the Dallas side. Didn't get a good look at who for. It's Sebastian Leggett replaced by Patrickson. The opposite of the sub we saw last week. I believe there's another change for Austin. Into the monks there. We'll let you know when we know. Offside flag is up against FC Dallas. Sabovic, the Swede, joins in the offseason. Started 15 games, coming off the bench now tonight. We'll see where he sets up. Patrickson can use his energy here early. Making life difficult for Owen Wolf. He goes back to Heinz Eich. Out to Dessler. And behind now for Bukhari. Bukhari cut back ball to the top of the 18. Pereira gets the shot away, blocked, I believe, by Iviaga. Follow-up cross is harmlessly over everybody's head.
We talk about Austin, being the possession team under Nico Estevez, but every time tonight they've got out running.
Away there between Patrickson and Ramiro. Austin still with numbers in the wide areas here on the left.
But they're hurting Dallas in that transition, going direct and with the early crosses.
And to me, Kamungo has been really good tonight, but he looks absolutely gassed. And that is not a matchup you can afford to leave a tired player in. Patrickson helping out defensively, wins it back. He will concede a corner. Unlucky there as he had knocked it off the Austin player, but then it knocked back off of him.
Yeah.
So Owen Wolf, the goal scorer for Austin, will set up to take this corner.
Fourth corner tonight for Central Texas team.
Two arms raised for Wolf. Whipped in this time over everybody's head and harmlessly out for a throw near the corner flag on the other side.
It is a tough call, though, for Eric Quill on the subs now with less than 25 minutes to go. If you get a point here, it's not terrible because you're also keeping Austin, the team that's right ahead of you in the standings, one of the teams that's ahead of you. You're keeping them from getting a couple more points if you sort of settle in and play a little bit more conservatively. And the other thing is you can add some more attacking subs, go for it, but you're risking something, giving up something on the other side.
Austin with the ball along the right side. Nice intervention there from Patrickson sliding in. Kamungo goes direct. Patrickson will chase. Heinz Eich just going to nod this one back to Stuver. Bureau looking to bend this ball in behind for the run of Azuni. Kamungo, nice sombrero flick over his head. Some good confidence there from Kamungo. And now gets Dallas going the other way. Ramiro to Patrickson, who gets turned in the central area. Out to Shaq Moore on this near side. Matched up on an island with his defenders, Fatak. Gets it back for Ramiro.
Both teams are looking pretty tired to me right now.
It was 96 at kickoff in Austin tonight. Kappas and Kamungo exchange passes back to Abubakar. Usually when it's a visiting team coming to Texas, you sort of highlight that as, okay, maybe they won't be used to. Well, also, these guys have been training in the Texas heat every day, all week.
Yeah, it cancels out when the Texas teams play. Now, Dallas has a pretty strong bench tonight. They still have 3 subs available to use in 2 different windows.
Viaga back to Kolodi. Azuni full sprint to close him down. Kolodi fires one across the ground, and it's intercepted by Ilie in the Austin half. Dallas get numbers back. Bureau down the line, back to him from Owen Wolf.
I tell you, Diego Rubio did a pretty good job of playing as the off striker last week, dropping in and playing as more of a number 10. It was really effective against Houston. This week, haven't really seen him have much impact on the game, and I think that's because Kappas and Ramiro have really done well in playing compacts, really sort of staying in there. Again, conceding those wider positions, but not letting Rubio be effective in dropping into that central area.
Looks like Dallas is readying at least one more change. Bukhari's on it on the far side. Julio helping Kamungo defend. It's the Austin DP. Dessler to Ilie. Across to Biro. Out to Wolf. Biro caught in an awkward spot there, nearly gave it away to Patrickson, managed to keep possession. Wolf looking for the entry ball, easily read by Ibiaga, who sends it clear.
Yeah, we clear to nobody. Dallas got all 11 players back within about 30 yards of their goal.
Well, Toyota Stadium renovations are underway. You can check out the new construction cam, see the latest updates in real time. To watch that and learn more, visit newtoyotastadium.com. Dessler with the assist on the Austin goal. He's got it here. Dropped back to Ilie. Anderson Julio on his case, and Ilie giving up age, giving up speed in that matchup, but has the craft and the know-how just to evade the pressure.
Some of the comments on our YouTube stream, people calling for more subs. Can't really say I disagree. A couple of calls for Kaike in there.
I'm calling for Austin to get up off the ground. 2 straight dives. And the run of play waved up by Villarreal.
Armando Villarreal, one of the more experienced referees. He's seen that before.
You know, Dallas already changes at the next opportunity. Austin just keeping them pinned in with possession right now. Heinz Ike out to Wolf. Biro through the lines for Pereira. Pereira looking to get turned. Venezuelan plays it along the ground to Ozuni, top of the box, lifted out to Dessler. We'll have to retrieve this one. Another moment where Villarreal waves up Dessler, who went for a dive. Bukhari now on the dribble inside the box, fires the low shot towards the near post. But Collodi had it covered without a touch. It's behind for a goal kick.
As Dallas maybe gets some more subs in here, I can tell you that if Eric Quill does want to maybe go for all 3 points here, they got to find a way in because they haven't done much in the second half here, and only 4 shots on the whole night.
Well, the first change will be Kaike in for Christian Kappas. And the second, Logan Farrington, replaced by Lucius Don Dietzen. Made a brief cameo, making his MLS debut last week. We'll have a more substantial role to play tonight, coming on here in the 72nd minute. Fresh legs. A couple of needed positions there with those changes.
Yeah, I don't think we got a real good look at Dietzen last week. I think you said it right, it was just a cameo, so he'll get at least 20 minutes here.
Miro wins the flicking header from the goal kick. Dietzen trying to nod it towards Julio. Sent clear by Austin, sent back the other way by Ibiaga. But no Musa, no Farrington, so a little bit more of a lightweight, fleet of foot look in the attack for FC Dallas. And Patrickson, Julio, and Dietzen.
Looks like Dietzen's going to play on the right side, shifting Delgado over to the left.
Bukhari matched up with Kamungo. Back heel for Dessler, now Pereira. Bukhari popping up centrally. Ramiro tackles it away. Boubacar lifts it out to Patrickson, who will bring it forward.
Eric Quill told us it was going to be this way. Bernie Kamungo has really played more as a left back than a left wing back tonight. And done a pretty good job as far as I can see.
Right there with you. I'm just a little concerned about the fitness down the stretch. Gets harder and harder to make those runs back as the legs get heavier.
I think the key there is he's got to manage his runs forward so he doesn't have to make as many runs back.
Boubacar taking some time for this throw and eventually fires it in.
That sort of also plays into what I said a while ago, that strategic choice of how you want both wing backs. How aggressive do you want them to be now?
Pitching ball out to Shaq Moore. Ramiro thrown down there by Ilie. Not enough for a foul. No, Dallas will have to get back and cover the counter. Dietz and Kaique, the two to do it. The fresh legs off the bench. Possession still with Austin and Dessler. Dallas with bodies back. It's a fixture that has seen some late drama, particularly winning goals for FC Dallas. Jesus Ferreira in Austin, and Kosi Tafari in Frisco, stoppage time winners. Stick with us here as we're headed into the hydration break in the final 15 minutes of this game coming up. Knotted up at 1 apiece. A draw, I think, despite being the home team, would really favor Austin, holding that playoff position as it stands. Dallas hot in pursuit, but really, in terms of playoffs and Copa Tejas, only a win will do tonight.
Just getting another look at that Owen Wolf goal back in the 52nd minute. I do think Shaq Moore needs to be a little stronger, and he's got the body, he's got the position, but he's just got to jump a little earlier. But I don't know, man. It's pretty close to a foul too. Owen Wolf, because Shaq Moore does have the position, Owen Wolf clearly jumps into him. I don't know. It's about a 50-50 for me. But you said it right, because a while ago, that was the exact call that Villarreal made against Shaq Moore on the attacking end.
Well, between that and the handball that was waved away in the first half, Dallas can certainly have a bone to pick, or at least feel the decisions went against them tonight. Still time. FC Dallas celebrating 30 years in Major League Soccer. The club is commemorating its most iconic moments, kits, players, and more. You can visit fcdallas.com/30 to relive the most important moments, storylines, and plenty more. A couple of changes on the Austin side now. Dessler out for Gallagher.
Yeah, Gallagher's actually the better attacker, so this is Nico Estevez going for the win.
There's another change in there I didn't spot. Gallagher and Jader Obreon. There's another familiar face.
I think it might be Owen Wolf that's coming out. Yeah, it's Owen Wolf.
Obreon had a good season for Austin last year, but he's been goalless this year in 23 appearances.
I mean, he's really sort of been, his role has really been reduced. He's only had five starts and really not many minutes lately.
He had that iconic moment when Dallas was at Austin last year where he thought he'd scored and celebrated for the better part of a minute before realizing it was offside.
But who had to tell him that he was offside?
Omar Gonzalez.
Omar Gonzalez over on the side. Warming up for Dallas.
That one will always stick with me. It's a classic Jader Obreon moment. 17 goals in 3 seasons in his time with FC Dallas. There's a ball over the top, way overhit. And that'll be easy for Michael Collodi to come and claim.
Well, that's good that ball was overhit, because Bakari had sort of snuck in behind Bernie Kamungo over there. Bernie didn't really have the right body shape to sort of keep Bakari in the side of his eye and watch the ball too, and sort of turned his head, and Bakari had slipped in right behind him.
Collodi now without Musa or Farrington to aim at. Dallas able to grab the second ball.
Dallas hasn't really, excuse me, Owen, Ryan, Dallas hasn't really found an effective way in.
There's a nice build up from Collodi to Ramiro, out to Shaq Moore. Space for him to bring it forward. Step over to free him up and whips the cross towards the back post. It'll be nodded towards the corner flag, retrieved by Patrickson. Patrickson to Kaique. Corner of the box extended. Back to Ramiro, wide again with Patrickson. Patrickson shot from distance, and he got something behind it, but it was a yard or two off target towards the near post. Stuber took the goal kick and cannoned it off Anderson Julio. I'm not sure I agree with this one.
Anderson Julio walked over, got in his way. He knew what he was doing. It's a pretty harmless yellow card if Julio just behaves himself. He's not a yellow card danger, but
I don't know if I've ever seen a yellow card for not that it wasn't, but I've never seen it on blocking a goal kick.
I think that's the point, that it's a goal kick, and Julio knows he's got to get out of the penalty area, but instead he sort of walks in front of the goal kick.
Pereira now with O'Brien supporting him on the left side. Back to Biro.
Dietzen got in the game a few minutes ago, but really hasn't had much to say about the attack because Dallas hasn't had much of the ball. He's just having to defend.
And he barrels over Pereira.
Well, just got into the game there.
And he gets the universal signal for no more from the referee.
Well, I think it's no more on fouling Pereira is what it is. Pereira's definitely been the conductor. He had 51 touches, high among both teams in the first half. Dallas has one more change they can make. Bring in somebody like Nolan Norris, maybe solidify the defending a little bit. Maybe that's the change for Bernie Kamungo if Eric Will decides that a point is enough tonight.
It's a tough calculus. Those points are few and far between the rest of the season. 8 games to go after this.
But you're right, but what you really can't do, because Austin is one of the teams right ahead of you, is you can't come out with no points and allow Austin to climb 3 more points in front of you.
I'm sure the calculus shifted when Musa had to leave at halftime as well. We do get word from the FC Dallas insider, Garrett Melser, hamstring tightness for Petar Musa, so a precautionary sub, not one they wanted to make. And maybe a chance for Julio, who got the winning goal opening day in the Texas Derby against Houston. Can he make an impact? That one was, of course, set up by Petar Musa. Finds Ike. Plays it ahead. Whistle goes for a foul against Ibeagha. Doesn't agree with the decision. It's Biro who's down on the ground.
So this is going to be well along the left side at about 30 yards. Potential shooting range?
I'd have to catch Collodi off guard, I think, really, to beat him. And they've got some targets to aim at. Biro joins the center backs forward. Pereira standing over it. Dallas sets that line a couple yards into the 18-yard box. Pereira bending it towards the back post. First contact made by Uriguide towards the top of the box. Zuni directs it goalwards, headed away by Ibeagha. Now follow up. Bukhari whips this one in, and Collodi with a nice catch there in traffic. Looked like he was on I-35 there, weaving between the lanes to make the catch.
We all know how good Martin Paz is, but so far, Marco Collodi in his 4 starts this year, Dallas, I just don't feel like they've lost much at all in goal.
Got 7 minutes plus stoppage time here. Shackmore up the right side, finds Peike centrally. Peike showing too much of that one to Sabovic. Ibeagha wins a header, keep the attack alive. Patrickson onto it, central. Out wide for Shackmore. Shackmore had a nice fake to get Biro up in the air, but didn't take advantage of it. Now going the other way, it's O'Brien in behind. O'Brien with Ibeagha in retreat. It's 2v2. Hunter O'Brien up against Ibeagha, puts it in behind for Azuni. Uriguide gets his body in the way, throws Azuni down. Not nearly enough for a penalty, just good defending there from the Dallas center backs. 2v2. Now Dietzen up the other end. See what he's got in the open field. Skips past Biro. Now a shot from distance. And it was blocked. A couple of Austin players in the way.
Well, we have entered the tactics free zone, haven't we? Because the game is really sort of stretched and players are tired.
See if Dallas can take advantage. Patrickson trying to spring Julio in behind. That pass easily picked off.
Seeing a lot of bad touches, a lot of players walking around. Another one there.
Kamungo intercepts.
I mean, the intercepts is generous.
He turned around and the ball was there for him. Here's Ka'ike through the lines for Julio into the 18. Julio looking for space, drops off for Patrickson. Patrickson lifts this one towards the back post. Jack Moore wins the header, back in front, looking for Dietzen. Couldn't find him. Right idea for the Dallas goal scorer in the first half. And here's Uragide, he needs to quickly get up to speed and does. Important intervention there with Ozuni nearby.
Abubakar is just a long, hopeful ball, and Abubakar just needed to clear it. Instead, he sort of tried to keep possession by heading it back towards Uragide, and that almost turned into absolute catastrophe.
Ka'ike switching ball from the far side to the near, and Dietzen is going to be called for using the arm to bring this one down. I think both teams would take a timeout if it was offered to them right now.
I think you're right. Yeah, I just got a shot of that play a minute ago where Ozuni was taken down by, taken down is actually not the correct term either. It was Uragide. They came together. Uragide did put his hands on Ozuni, but Ozuni was unbalanced, and Villarreal was never calling that one.
And the last roll of the dice for Nico Estevez. CJ Fodry is on for Danny Pereira.
That hopeful shot a minute ago at about 26, 28 yards by Dietzen was only Dallas's 5th shot tonight. Still only 1 shot on target for FC Dallas. That's the one that went in.
Kolmnich also on for Bureau at left back. That's the full complement of subs for Austin.
It does feel like a night where you need to use your full complement of subs. Dallas still has 1 to go, but they've used 4.
Kolmnich, first involvement for him, a low cross swung in. Dealt with by Abubakar. Kamungo finds Patrickson. Patrickson to Ka'ike, skips through 2 midfielders for Austin, and then a heavy touch. Turns it over to Gallagher, who was covering.
Looks like Dallas might have something on the counter there. Ka'ike just his second touch just too far.
Kolmnich will go back through Heinz Ike. You've rarely seen a game with so many just strange mistakes and wide open play here in the second half.
Yeah, the quality hasn't been great on this one.
Gallagher swings the low cross in, brought down by Bukhari, who goes to ground. Didn't really appeal for a penalty, instead stabbed it towards goal. It was actually O'Brien.
Both teams just exhausted here, and I think the team that can just avoid the big mistake here might come out on top. Of course, a big possibility here, just ends 1-1 as well.
There's been a few half shouts for penalties for Austin, and Dallas had the one big one in the first half. This is the latest. So we're going to look at Collodi strong on a recent cross into the box. That could have been any time tonight. He's had a few of those.
I mean, you knew that Dallas was going to have trouble getting through tonight because, again, Austin really well organized, good defensively. I think Svatog has been really good this year. And indeed, it doesn't help when your 2 strikers that have been hot lately, Farrington and Musa, are both off the field.
More chips ball in the midfield. Runs Patrickson, quick exchange with Ka'ike. Patrickson here, space, driving forward through the middle of the field. Patrickson from distance, big save from Stuver. Follow up Kamungo, shot blocked behind for a corner. Well, Patrickson's been dialing it in all season long, off the post, off the crossbar, and this was his latest effort. Took a big save from the All-Star.
Yeah, Stuver does a pretty good job of pushing it out, not leaving the rebound in a terrible place, but Kamungo was able to come in and hit that at about 18 yards and got blocked right out in front of him, turned into a corner kick.
Dallas finally broke the duct of corner kick goals last week against Portland. They open the floodgates. Here's Patrickson with the service towards the near post, and that one really poorly hit from someone who's shown quality in those set piece opportunities. Didn't give anybody a chance that time.
Yeah, I suppose he was trying to go for something at the near post there and just didn't hit it. Hit it right into that side netting.
Final minute of the 90. Stoppage time still to go. Suppose I should mention after this, as Kolmanich whips this one in, Kolodi gets a big fist to it, breaks for Bukhari at the back post. Bukhari sizes it up, swings it in. Urugide throwing his head into the mixer there and wins the header.
Kolodi's been very good tonight. In that case, he didn't get all the fist to it.
Not for the first time. Dallas playing it off the Austin player and then bounces back to hit them again. That's another corner. This time it was Kamungo. I should mention, if it ends 1-1, Houston will win Copa Tejas this year, and that's the only time I'll mention it.
Well, I know everybody from Dallas is tired as they show 6 minutes of added time, but you just got to dig in here. You got to defend this corner with everything you have.
Kolmanich, the end swinger, into the danger area. Header at the near post, off target from Fodry. Houston, by the way, never won Copa Tejas. 4 seasons, 2 each between Austin and Dallas.
It really helped them last week when they were at Q2 Stadium, right here where this game is tonight, when they were down 2-0 and managed to fight back and turn that into a 2-2 draw. Put them in a position to take Copa Tejas.
Dallas last season came to Austin, losing 2-1. Nico Estevez was in charge of FC Dallas at that point. Jader O'Brien puts this one in behind Fodry, showing his speed. Gets in behind Ibiaga, forced wide. The Dallas center back, Fodry. Into the middle for Sabovic. Gallagher. 5 minutes remaining of stoppage time. Gallagher whips this one in. Header won by Ibiaga. Now Kolmanich whips it in from the other side towards the back post. Header won by Abubakar. And you can sense the pattern. Here's Gallagher across from the other side. Ibiaga this time straight up in the air, and Dietzen gets it further clear. Ilie into the feet of Bukhari, top of the box. Ramiro is an important intervention, and Ramiro goes down. And some discomfort on the top of the Dallas box. Stayed down here as O'Brien's on it. Sabovic goes down. Another really shameless dive, to be honest. Here's a ball bending in behind, looking for Julio. It was on, but Heinzike read it, intercepting, and Ramiro's still down.
Dallas hasn't been good in connecting in transition tonight.
And they conceded a corner. But the concern is with the Dallas captain. He's getting some help here for what looks like a cramp on his left calf. Can't really accuse him of simulation considering he stopped in the middle of the play and didn't continue as Dallas was defending.
It's tough here because if he gets treatment, if he's not going to be taken off, then Dallas is going to have to play man short for a second. He's trying to get up.
It's going to be Nolan Norris. Eric Cole's not going to take that chance with 3 minutes.
And Norris can't play as a defensive midfielder, of course, if this is the change that Dallas is going to make.
Kolmanich waits to take the corner from the near side. And the change is confirmed. Norris sprints out onto the field to help defend the corner.
Norris very quickly trying to work out the marking assignments.
Kolmanich to Ozuni, back to him, short corner here. And the whistle goes, contact in the box against the Dallas center backs. They won a foul, and the opportunity dissipates. And now some afters. Man, the Austin players, I mean, I know they wear green. They love to roll around in the grass all night long.
Yes, Fatag got a tiny little hand from Abubakar and decided just to fall down. But for Dallas, I think now, as much as Austin wants to, sort of do all the histrionics and slow the game down, I think it plays into Dallas's favor.
Colodi launches it long. 2 minutes of stoppage time remaining. Dietzen flicks it on towards Ka'ike. Dietzen back onto the second ball. Finds Kamungo centrally. Kamungo pokes it wide. Patrickson off the left. Out to Ka'ike. Shaq Moore goes on the overlap. Dallas committee numbers forward here. Bending this one in behind, looking for Dietzen. And he had a beat on an important intervention for Austin. Puts it behind for a corner.
Yeah, it was Heinz Ike. I thought that they had picked out Dietzen in the middle there. Just for a second, Heinz Ike with a big header turns into a corner kick. So late chance here coming from Dallas.
Talked about the stoppage time winners in the past. Dallas against Austin. Ferreira, Tafari, and somebody else add their name in this latest chapter of the rivalry. Patrickson will take the corner. Whipped in. This one a better service, but nobody making the run towards the penalty spot. Norris gets the header to keep this one alive. Abubakar flicks it on. Go in the box challenging for it, but it breaks for Gallagher. They'll send it clear. And Obrian will run for the hills up the right side. Finds Fodry central. Numbers even in this attack for Austin. Fodry lines up the shot from distance, and that one's easy for Colodi, who quickly rises up and fires it out to Ka'ike at left wing back.
That's where somebody from Dallas just has to go out there and grab a player and take the yellow card, and in the end it doesn't matter, but was dying for somebody from Dallas to take a foul there.
Final seconds ticking down. Patrickson into Nolan Norris in midfield. Ahead to Dietzen. Patrickson brings it from outside to in. Uragide stabs it ahead for Kamungo, or Ka'ike, sorry. It goes down, and he had to commit the foul that Steve Davis was asking for in the last counterattack. Osaze putting him in a bad spot there. Dallas have to make sure not to concede anything in these final seconds.
And there might be a little bit of time added. We're past the 6 of stoppage, but that Ramiro stoppage and checking on him as he was cramping, and then the substitution, I think pushes it maybe one more minute.
Stuver will take the free kick from inside the center circle. We're going to send everybody forward here. One last foray for the home side.
I think if Dallas clears this ball, it'll probably be it.
Stuver lifts it towards the edge of the box. Header won by Abubakar. And Kamungo just shoved by Gallagher. Referee waves play on. Fodry bending a ball off the left foot towards the back post. Header won by Shaq Moore, and that'll do it. A scrappy edition of this Copa Tejas matchup. Ends honors even from Q2 Stadium. A lot of effort, a lot of fatigue on both sides, Steve, and maybe a little bit of a lack of quality tonight for either side to make the difference and go on and win the game.
Yeah, for sure. It's a tough night out there, but Party Kamungo just showed a shot of him. He's exhausted over there. He put in a heck of a shift tonight, so lots to talk about on this one after a 1-1 draw.
Well, this one ends all even. Nico Esteves' first matchup with FC Dallas ends in a 1-1 draw from Q2 Stadium tonight. We thank you for joining us wherever you're listening, on the app or on the Burncast over on YouTube. Post-game coverage coming up here. You've been listening to FC Dallas Soccer presented by Toyota on the FC Dallas Radio Network.
So, what'd you do this weekend?
Well, just took the Tacoma off-road, deep into the woods, got to this hidden campsite only it could reach.
Nice. I hooked up the boat to the Tundra and hit up the lake. Towed it like a pro. Had the whole lake to ourselves.
Hey, wait, did I mention I went rock climbing too? Uh-huh, yeah, thanks to the Tacoma's crawl control.
Well, sounds like we both had fun weekends.
Mine was better.
The Toyota Tundra and Tacoma are built for all the fun. Test drive at your local Toyota dealer or visit Toyota.com today. Toyota, let's go places. Feature availability differs based on trim. See Toyota.com for details.
In sports, if you think joy only happens after you win, think again. Look at the world's most successful athletes like Serena Williams, Brooks Koepka, and Alex Morgan. They don't spend all their days grinding away. They take time to enjoy themselves, like getting together with friends over a Michelob Ultra, because they know that happiness is the key to winning, and that joy is the whole game, not just the end game. Michelob Ultra. 95 calories, 2.6 grams of carbs. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. AB Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
UT Southwestern Medical Center in Dallas, Texas, where discoveries change lives. The spark of collaboration that fuels bold thinking in our labs. The spark of inspiration that motivates greatness in the next generation. And the spark of innovation that pushes the boundaries of today's care. At UT Southwestern, teamwork and talent combine to fuel discovery, education, and healing. UT Southwestern, the future of medicine sparks here.
Hi everyone, it's Marco Farfan, and you're listening to FC Dallas Soccer on the FC Dallas app.
After 90-plus minutes at Q2 Stadium, it's honors even between FC Dallas and Austin FC. 1-1 from the state capitol as each team takes a very, very hard-earned point out of this one. Hello, everybody. It's the FC Dallas postgame show brought to you by your local Toyota dealer, Toyota. Let's go places. Also brought to you by UMB Bank. See how UMB can help you achieve your business goals. I'm your host, Sam Hale. I'll be joined in a few moments by the voices of tonight's contest. It's Ryan Figert and Steve Davis. Well, let's start first with the postgame highlights. There weren't many highlights in the first half, but one did show up in the 37th minute when FC Dallas took the lead.
Ramiro, cutback ball, finds Farrington inside the 18. He can't keep hold of it. Now Boubacar goes flying in, gets a foot on it, and now out to Shaq Moore. Nice touch from Musa. Moore towards the back post! And there's the opening goal! And the Dallas fans go crazy in the corner at Q2 Stadium. Shaq Moore's giving Dallas the lead here.
Moore's third goal of the season made it FC Dallas 1, Austin FC 0. That was the score at halftime, but 6 minutes after the break, it was Owen Wolf colliding with Shaq Moore in the box, getting a header that bounces off the crossbar behind Michael Collodi into the net. Wolf's goal in the 51st made it 1-1, and that is where the scoring left off as neither team could find the winner. Let's bring you tonight's post-game stats. They are brought to you by UMB Bank. The Verde win the possession battle 63-37. 11 shots for Austin, 4 of those on target. 7 shots for Dallas, 2 of those on net. 6 corners for the home side, 3 for the visitors. You had 3 saves for Michael Collodi, 1 save for Brad Stuver. 14 fouls for Dallas, 3 yellow cards. Yet 3 fouls for Austin, 2 yellow cards for them. That number doesn't feel right, but we'll go with it because that's what MLS says. Now let's bring in our commentary team for this one, Ryan Figert and Steve Davis. And as I try to come up with a word to describe this matchup, I come to the word consternation, Ryan, because especially in the second half, it really just felt like, especially, and we'll talk about the big reason why, this one went from, hey, we're 2 teams slugging it out to we're just 2 teams out there getting some cardio and maybe committing a couple fouls. And in the case of Austin, throwing ourselves down on the pitch. It was not a pretty soccer game.
No, and I think I did feel some consternation and some dread that maybe the dagger was coming from the Austin side because Dallas had to sit back and absorb a lot towards the end of both halves, actually, once they had the lead in the first half and when they were sort of nursing it towards the finish line in the second half. So I think it was a scrappy game in which Dallas came out on the wrong end of some refereeing decisions, I think, that were really unfortunate. Could have had an early goal from a penalty in the first half on a handball. We still haven't seen a good look at it, but to me in live time it looked stonewall clear as day. And then on the goal for Austin, Shaq Moore, Owen Wolf climbing up all on his back. I think anywhere else on the field that's called as a foul, and in this case it's not. So Austin definitely getting some home field cooking in terms of the refereeing decisions tonight. That happens, we understand that. But also Austin not covering themselves in glory tonight either, as you mentioned, Sam. A lot of diving, a lot of trying to bait the referee into fouls, and you really don't like to see that. It was really irritating tonight. I think Dallas did a good job not to let it get under their skin and just get this one over the line. It wasn't the result they wanted, but particularly with Petar Musa going off on the half, it's one they had to settle for.
Yeah, and Steve, that's where I think the big thing changes. Petar Musa comes off at halftime. Garrett Melser reported in that his hamstring tightness, so this was not a planned substitution. And to me, that's really, especially in hindsight, where the match changed. Because once Musa went out, specifically for Dallas, even though Logan Farrington stayed on for a decent bit longer, it just felt like when Musa left, so too did the FC Dallas really quality offensive chances.
No, it's a good point, Sam. We know that as Lucho Acosta was sold, we knew that this team was going to be playing through Peter Musa. We know how good he is. He picked up his 6th assist tonight, even when he wasn't at his best, sort of slowed down by what seems to be a little bit of a hamstring injury. So hopefully that won't have any lasting effect. But I think Ryan Figert sort of summed it up off air a minute ago when he said that looks like a couple of teams playing without their designated players, and that's what happens when those are the money guys, and that's who Dallas is trying to play through. Just going back a little bit to what Ryan said, I don't know, Ryan, the goal, Owen Wolf, to me it's 50-50. I see it called a lot. I don't always see it called. So that one, I think the handball was the one that was a little bit bigger for me. I still love to see that original angle because to me it looked like it looked like a pretty clear handball. But Michael Ratchuk was the VAR in Arlington. He didn't think so. So to me, this game was one that was the quality in the first half was tenuous, I guess.
Very good word for it.
Would be a good word for it.
We're really going deep in the thesaurus to describe this game tonight.
But but that was with guys like Kappas and Leggett on the field. That was with the two midfielders for Austin, including one that's 34 years old, as they were a little fresher. And then the game just sort of deteriorated. The second half was it just looked for all the world to me like that was going to be a game decided by somebody making a big mistake because they were just dog tired. And in the end, nobody made the big mistake or nobody could take advantage of a big mistake like that. So what you got was the 1-1 draw.
Rare is the time I'm going to align with Steve on refereeing, but I am going to sit with him here because the handball, I think, is probably going to be the one that we end up going back and looking, going, what happened there? But 7 shots for Dallas, 2 on target, and Peter Musa goes out. They had 4 and 1 at the halftime break, but man, that offense just dried up. And I get it when your best player, because I think you can say Peter Musa is the best player for Dallas right now, goes away. I don't expect the offense to get better, but I do think in a rivalry matchup where you're looking for 3 points, and we talk about the team element of pulling together and trying to get through. You're a collective group. I would like to see someone grab it and just have a moment. They don't need to have a full game, just a moment. And I'm a little, I guess, frustrated that no one, really sat there, whether it was Julio or Dietzen or, pick a player, didn't say, okay, I know this is rough, but I need to grab the moment and get there.
Yeah, and it's not for trying, right? I mean, these guys aren't designated players for a reason. I think I was sort of throwing shade towards Austin's way and via Steve's comment earlier that they had Bukhari and they had Ozidi on the field, and they're just not designated player level players. These guys that they've paid $10 million, $15 million for. I mean, if you're an Austin fan, you got to feel really bad about those signings as we're almost all the way through the season now. But going back to the Dallas side, I think we saw moments of flashes where space opened up and they were just unable to take advantage. And I think I share your frustration on that. One thing I'd like, to discuss here is, as we have time to do it, Logan Farrington, when Musa goes off the field, continued to play on the left wing with Julio through the middle. Now, we saw Julio in the opening game of the season making a darting run from outside to end, getting in behind the back line, winning the game against Houston. And it seems like to me his best moments have all come when he's played on the wing, whether it's on the left or on the right. And Farrington, we know his natural position is through the middle. So I'm wondering if, Steve, Stam, if you guys have any theories, any way to diagnose why we didn't see Logan through the middle. The only thing I can think of is maybe they feel like Logan is just more attentive to the defensive side, and they wanted to make sure Bukhari didn't really expose them on the left. But for me, it felt like Farrington needed to be through the middle to give him that focal point.
I mean, I totally agree. And even with what you said about Farrington being a little bit more attentive to the defensive duties, that's really not the way they play, though. The way they set up this 3-4-3 is that the guy on the left side stays a little higher. Leggett, or as Patrickson came in for him for a little while in the second half, the guy on the right side sort of tucks in and plays as a little bit more of a hybrid sort of playmaker inside. We talked about Leggett coming all the way across the field, but he tucks in more defensively. I told you in the first half they were sort of conceding that space 30 and 40 yards out over on Farrington's side. So I completely agree with you. It's not really defensive duty. It's a little bit of a head scratcher as me too. Clearly, Eric Quill had a reason. I'm sure that he thought that maybe Anderson Julio could get behind those center backs a little bit more from the central areas than from the left side. But the thing is, Farrington's a striker and Julio's a winger. We have heard Eric Quill to be fair, we have heard Eric Quill say that he thinks Anderson Julio can play as a 9. So, to me, I would have done it the other way, but Eric Quill knows his players better than I do.
And I would also follow that up with it's a little bit more perplexing to give praise to another player when you had a really strong showing again from Bernard Kamungo, who I think played well on that defensive left side. If you were going to make that switch, just to try to set people up forward, you had the ability to say, hey, our left back, left wing back, whatever you want to call him, Bernie is really kind of settling it. He's figuring it out. He's not best 11 or all-star quality yet, but dang, if he's got 2 games under him, and he's really starting to show. And I give him full credit for learning a new position on the fly in the middle of a season.
Yeah, absolutely. 2 straight games, really solid up against a DP. I mean, we talked about maybe Bukhari's not quite at the level you'd expect a DP winger to be.
In name only, maybe.
But to be fair, Bukhari got an important assist for them last week on a goal. He has had moments, and he's a sort of relentless 1v1 player. You can't really give him a moment throughout the game because then he can hurt you. Now, is he the most dynamic in transition, stretching you in behind? No, and we saw that tonight. He never really got in behind Bernie Kamungo, but that's also credit to Bernard and his positioning, the center backs and the center midfielders there alongside him and helping him through the game. I think he's starting to show me something on that left side that maybe this can be a long-term position if Dallas continues in this shape.
Yeah, and I thought it was a really good tactical ploy to make sure that Bernie Kamungo understood your job is not a wing back. Your job is to play as the 5th defender, be a true left back over there on a line of 5. Just keep Bukhari in front of you. Don't let him get it behind you. We don't let you. We don't care about that space 10 yards ahead of Bukhari. Just concede that space. Let Mikael Dessler hold the ball up there as long as he wants. Dessler's in there for his defensive abilities, not so much if they wanted an attacker there, they would have put Gallagher in, which they did late. So they just said, you just worry about Bukhari over there. Don't worry about anything else. So they made the assignment really simple for Bernie. And I think if you're going to try to train a guy on the fly how to be a left back, I think that's important, and I think it worked tonight.
Yeah, go into the YouTube chat for some comments from the fans listening in. Matthew Sappington would have liked to see Sarver in the end. Know it's early days, but wasn't moved by Dietzen. That was our first real look at Dietzen for an extended amount of time. Steve, what were your thoughts on the Haitian winger?
No, I thought he was okay. I thought he was very focused on his defensive duties as well. As he came in, Dallas just wasn't having a lot of the ball, so he just had to defend a lot. I thought he did fine. I thought there were a couple of moments where he did play balls forward or he cut inside at one point. I thought for his first extended minutes, didn't mind it at all. And I don't know, Sam Sarver, young player in that atmosphere, in that moment, would he have gotten excited and got a little too far forward and maybe, not been as attentive to his defensive responsibilities? I don't know. I thought Dietzen was just fine, though.
Yeah, I think for me, he didn't look out of place at the level, and I think that's what you're looking to see. Even when you think about Eugene Ansah, who's similar position, sort of same sort of spot in the roster. We don't know what Dietzen's going to be, in terms of the cap when all those numbers come out. But that winger that's sort of starting some games, off the bench in some games, right? And Ansah, just in the run of play, he never looked up to the MLS level. He had a couple of moments, a couple of goals in Leagues Cup when he first got here. But for me, Dietzen looked like he was at the level. Now, can he be an impact player? That'll have to come as he gets adjusted to the league, adjusted to the players around him. I wasn't particularly down on his performance in any way tonight. I think he did the job for the team. Hutch as well asking, were any of our substitutions impactful, or do you think the game was too stifling for anyone to make a difference? So just to go through the substitutions: Julio at halftime for Musa, Delgado in the 64th minute for Leggett, Kaique and Dietzen together in the 72nd minute, and Nolan Norris just seeing the game out in stoppage time. Sam, I guess over to you first on what your thoughts were with the substitutions.
I mean, obviously it's kind of hard to judge Julio considering he probably wasn't expecting to come in and play a whole half. He didn't really, I don't think, make it a great impact, but I'm not sure I'm willing to hold that against him in this moment. It was strange because really, I mean, the answer really is kind of no, because we've seen, and that's almost a credit to how well this team has played and how well Quill has substituted in the past, where we've seen him, even as quickly as last week against Portland, when he makes changes, they make an impact on the game. They change the game in a tangible way. I look at what we saw tonight. and I can't say that anyone that came in played badly. Like they did not lose the game because of substitutions, but I don't think they added in any way. They definitely didn't win tonight. So it's just kind of one of those, they all happened. Nobody did anything to, capsize the boat, but I'm not sure they got to where they wanted to go either.
Yeah, I will say this though. I thought they were all fine. No, they were all meh.
Yes.
Not good, not bad.
6 out of 10 for everybody.
Nothing special. Yeah, but I will ask, what would you have expected any of them to do, given that against a well-organized team, when they didn't have the ball a lot, I didn't see much in the way of what was Dallas trying to do with the ball, other than once they collected it with 9 men back, hit it forward and hope that Anderson Julio could run in behind them, and they weren't really good in connecting those transition moments. So, Julio comes in, Patrickson Delgado comes in, Dietzen comes in. There was never enough sustained possession to get them up the field to ask them to do something with the ball, and I thought they were all fine in their defensive responsibilities. So I would ask, before you sort of hit them a little bit for not doing anything to change the game, what would you have wanted to do?
Well, what I would have liked to see is Pedrinho come into the game, and he's been with North Texas recently. He's been not with the team. He hasn't been able to make an impact recently in Eric Kuhl's mind, and I wonder, when is he going to get back into the picture? Because he was such an impactful player off the bench, helping Dallas turn games around on the road in the first half of the season. This was the exact type of game that I would have liked to see him come in instead of Patrickson maybe, or instead of Dietzen, just somebody who has the ideas in the final third, because I think they had runners towards the end of the game, but they didn't have the ideas of someone like a Musa or a Pedrinho, that these creative players that can create the moments for you. You've got guys, you've got the runners, you've got the foot soldiers, but do you have the conductors, and Pedrinho can certainly be that. So once Musa went out of the game, Dallas really lacking creativity in the final third. Obviously, you hope Patrickson can give you some of that, and he had one decent chance on a shot from distance and a couple of ideas in terms of through balls, but he didn't have the quality to execute it, and we've seen Pedrinho has had the quality to execute it off the bench this season. So I would like to see him getting back involved with the team as soon as possible.
And to your point, the few times that Dallas was able to establish possession, move a few players into the attacking zone, sort of push Austin back a little bit, you saw a couple of moments where the players seemed to be just declining to take the responsibility of making the last pass, or trying an early cross, or trying something in there. I remember one sequence that we actually commented on where the ball just sort of got stuck on the left side, and nobody was willing to make it one more run, third man run, overlapping run, try something, underlapping run inside. Nobody wanted to do anything with the ball, and it just sort of pilfered away into nothing.
It reminds me of a phrase Nico Estevez used a lot, bravery. It felt like there was some bravery that was lacking. And, to kind of extend that conversation, does it concern, and Ryan, I'll throw this one at you, obviously Musa goes out, that blows a big hole in your game plan, but it kind of felt like this offense is, even though it's better, with the moves that have been made by Dallas, it's still very Musa-centric. Does it concern at all that there kind of doesn't seem to be a change-up pitch when Musa is not on the field, whether it's for an extended period like tonight, or even like 15, 20 minutes?
No, I don't think so. I think this is reality in MLS. When your designated players are off the field, that's your game plan. Those are your quality guys, and when they're not there, you're going to struggle. You still look at guys in and around the roster and you feel like they could make an impact. Obviously, Logan, Julio has done it at times. Usually, though, that's complementing off of a designated player in Petter Musa. And so as long as the team only has one since the sale of Lucho Acosta, when you don't have Musa on the field, I think it's going to look like this. Maybe they can work on, if they know Musa is a minutes restriction or a risk coming up against LAFC in the next game, they can work on some different patterns that don't involve Petter Musa and have a little more time on the training ground to work on that. But obviously that hasn't been anything that they planned for this season. And ultimately, when you have your quality players not in the game, it's going to look like a game without much quality.
Yeah, I do feel like we're spending some time here talking about what Dallas didn't do. I think we should also say, against a team that's right now in pretty good playoff position, Austin, to hold this team to one goal. I know they don't score a lot of goals at home, but by the second half, their plan was pretty simple.
Yep.
Move the ball up the field, quickly and get early crosses in. And I feel like because they were trying to isolate Bakari one-on-one against Bernie Kamungo in the first half, and get better crosses. Well, it just wasn't working. Bernie was doing the job, and they had a good setup defensively. So I feel like we got to spend a moment here talking about how Dallas center backs do a great job of clearing about 20 crosses that Austin hit. That's a pretty high number. Michael Collodi was good in Dallas goal. There were 2 times when he got out in traffic and he didn't get really good contact on the ball on the punches, but there were 2 or 3. But even on those, he managed to get something on it and direct it away. There were 2 or 3 times when he comes out in traffic, claims the ball clean. I thought he was really good. I thought Kappas and Ramiro, until he got tired, were really good in staying compact, staying in the middle, not letting Diego Rubio drop into those half spaces like he did last week effectively against Houston. They had a good game plan in terms of just conceding those areas out wide in higher areas, knowing that Austin's not going to be able to hurt you. Or in the second half, Austin did start hitting early crosses from those areas, but center backs and Collodi were able to clean those up. So there was a lot of good for Dallas. Unfortunately, we know they're just in a position whereas 1 point at a rival on the road usually would be, that's enough. And then you say, okay, and we'll get the 3 points against you back at our place. They're just in a spot right now where they need a little bit more. So that's why it frames a little differently for us.
Yeah, I think, credit to the defensive unit once again. I think there was a comment in the YouTube chat as well saying that Austin felt dangerous with their crosses, and obviously they do get the 1 goal from it, but for the volume of crosses, they didn't really feel dangerous outside of the goal, and we've already argued about maybe there was a foul leading up to that. So I think credit to the center backs, right? When you have 3 center backs in there, you expect to be durable when you're conceding the volume of crosses that they did, and all 3 of them did their job tonight. Ibiaga, Boubacar, Iragide, important clearances, important headers, putting their body on the line, and Collodi obviously sets the standard in terms of coming out and patrolling the area as well. So credit to them, and I think man of the match has to go to Shaq Moore with the goal because he was also solid defensively and gets the important goal for Dallas. Had a chance early in the second half to even get a second goal, but just for his tireless work up and down the right side and getting the important goal to secure the point, he would be my man of the match. But everyone across the back line has a shout.
And yeah, I completely agree with that, and I want to expand upon it because I think there was times tonight where we've talked a lot about Dallas switching off earlier in the season that's cost them goals, specifically either coming out of halftime or after conceding goals or just some flashpoint happening on the pitch. Well, tonight there was a few times of that, either the Owen Wolf goal in the 51st, the handball that's not called, one of the countless times that Austin tried to draw fouls that Armando Villarreal just was not having tonight when it came to Austin hitting the turf. Credit to them, specifically in the back line, but in general, for not losing the plot and just staying focused, because this could have easily been maybe 2 or 3 to 1 in Austin's favor, the way they were launching in crosses. But they stayed mentally tough. And yeah, the draw stings, but I give them full marks across the board for not losing that intensity throughout the full 90+.
Yeah, and that includes getting everybody back defensively.
Yes.
We know that was a struggle in the first half of the season for reasons that everybody understands and for reasons that are no longer here with the club. That was an issue, defending with 11. That's no longer an issue. And we saw it no matter who was in there tonight. Julio, who, in the first half of the season, maybe he didn't do, his full share of the defensive work. That's not a problem for him anymore. He's chasing back from the striker position to help out, the fullback in a 2v1 against the winger. So credit to the whole team's effort tonight, just lacking the quality to turn it into a win in the second half. And a lot of that goes down to the Petter Musa injury, which for me is the story of the game. And obviously we hope and we pray and we cross our fingers and we do rituals, whatever we need to do to make sure
organs in tribute
that Petter Musa is ready for LAFC next week.
I will also say it helps you in terms of getting numbers back. It helps you when you set up with a 5-man back line.
It does.
Too.
You have one already back there to start with. But I think the forward players didn't, take any plays off tonight. And
that's right.
That certainly helps when you're on the road.
I did want to discuss one midfield player in specific because I think we saw another good game from Ramiro. Captain Ramiro now has really yielded benefits. He's found another level with the armband. But I am curious, and Steve, I'll start here with you about what you thought about Christian Kappas, because I think I don't really know what to make of his game. I don't really have an opinion on it. Looking at the numbers specifically, he played 72 minutes. His passing was good, 22 of 26 accurate. But you look at the duels, he was 0 of 5 on duels, 1 on the ground, 1 of 2 in the air. He committed a foul. But on the other hand, on defense, he did have an interception, 4 recoveries, and 2 dribbles passed. I don't know what to make of his game. I'm not saying it's good or bad. I'm probably going to have to go back and watch it again to make a judgment. I just don't really know what to think of it. I'm curious what your thoughts are on him.
First start, Texas in a Texas rivalry game with a lot on the line. Probably the passing numbers you just cited, I think he lost the ball a couple of times early, so I think he actually was good in possession after a couple of early shaky moments. I'll accept it. I'll take it. I thought he was good enough defensively. He was well-positioned defensively because he and Ramiro, I said it a while ago, they were very compact in there. Most of the time when I looked up and saw the defensive structure, they were never more than 10 or 12 yards apart, and that's exactly what they needed to do. So if you can be good in possession against a team that is set up pretty well and organizes and knows when to counterpress, a team that's played the same lineup 4 games in a row, so they understand what they're trying to do. So it's tough in there. So if you can do that, be pretty tight in possession, be positioned well defensively in your first start, I mean, I'll take it. Going forward, can he give you a little bit more push going, on the attacking end? Probably, but I was satisfied for tonight.
Yeah, I think, Christian Kappas, the young player that left Eric Quill's Texans to come to the FC Dallas Academy and hope to sign a homegrown deal. It didn't work out. Goes to play in Scandinavian football for a while. Brøndby, obviously the big club that he played for. We played Brøndby in preseason in Portugal, and I was blown away by their tactical understanding, their game plan, their knowledge, their understanding of spaces. I mean, it's a different type of game. It's a different type of league. And so coming from that type of league, he has an understanding that, of the space around him, his relationships with different players. Defensive spacing was on point tonight, as Steve mentioned. I think a lot of that is down to the education that he got when he was becoming a professional in Denmark and in Norway. So as opposed to a Kaique, right, who is raw talent, raw energy, all over the field, ground coverage, but maybe doesn't quite have the understanding. I think they have sort of complementary skill sets. And so we saw both of them in that role alongside Ramiro and how they play the position differently. Kappas is a more steady presence in the middle of the field. Once he got some of those shaky moments out of him, I think he was solid enough, and I think it's one to grow on for him in the Dallas midfield.
No, I'm glad you mentioned that because I was thinking the same thing. I was going to sort of throw the question out to you guys. The way I just described Kappas playing, it's so solid defensively, positionally, could you see Kaique being the same way? And
if he can develop in that way, then you have a
No,
serious...
I'm saying tonight.
Yeah.
Could you have seen him play that solid positionally? Now, would he have been, he's higher risk, higher reward. Would he have gone out of position a couple of times, jumped a couple of passing lanes, and maybe sprung a counterattack going the other way? Yes. Might he have tried to do that, gotten caught out of position, gotten in behind him? Now Ramiro's scrambling, everybody's rotating around, and it gotten scored? That could happen too. So to me, Kappas is probably the little bit more conservative choice, the safer choice, and it worked for them tonight, at least as far as getting the point.
I will say one thing there. The one consequence of Kappas being is we did see Ramiro maraud forward just a little bit more, and that's something that even though there was a couple times it looked really nice specifically with his lead-in passing, I'm still not sure I want to see that as a long-term solution. So I guess maybe the balance there is something they're going to have to work on as they figure this midfield, which I think is a midfield trio at this point with Kaique, Ramiro, and Kappas as they work out what the best iteration of it is.
Yeah, and Ross all the way back in the first half in our YouTube chat said he felt like Kappas lightens the load for Ramiro a little bit in the middle of the field.
Probably.
Compared to Kaique zipping around. I think that's a really well-taken point from Ross and similar to what we saw in the second half as well when Kaique eventually came in. It was huge to have those fresh legs and that energy, and that was what they needed to close out the game. But I think they have a really solid piece in Kappas, and he can only get better for me.
And I think what this reiterates as we kind of move towards the end game here, this is still a roster in transition and a roster in progress. Obviously we were very encouraged by the Portland showing, the St. Louis showing, even the San Jose showing that wasn't a win. But there's still work to be done on this roster. I mean, there's 10 days or so left in the transfer window. Who knows what, if anything, Dallas will do. But even so, I can't imagine they're going to be finished this summer. There's still a lot of questions about this roster. So, and some really interesting questions as well. And I think tonight was just one of those instances where, a point may be frustrating, But I think there's a situation where it could have been a lot worse, and full credit to the squad for not letting that happen.
Yeah, I think we're down to like 5 days in the transfer window now, not quite 10. So I think the
can't
door
count.
is closing soon on that one. And also one last point on Kappas. Think back to his appearance off the bench against Portland, and he tracked a back post runner all the way and prevented a goal for Portland that would have made it 2-1, would have made it interesting down the stretch. I don't think anyone else on the field, maybe Ramiro, has the awareness to make that play. So that's just an example of something he brings to the roster that we didn't have before.
Very much so. Well, before we turn off the open line here, do we have any final thoughts on FC Dallas 1, Austin FC 1 that does not involve the other team in Houston, in Texas, because I'm not bringing that part up tonight?
No, just get well soon, Petter Musa. Hope he's ready for the big one against LAFC and Heung-Min Son next weekend. That one should be fun. Just hope the team is fit and ready to go coming out of this one. They still have an opportunity, just 3 points shy of the playoff line right now. It's still there for them to take. And we'll see you soon, Austin. Come down to Frisco. They haven't had much fun here in the past.
September 13th is the game if you want to grab tickets, FCDallasTickets.com.
Dallas started the night in 11th position. Right now they are still in 11th position. Houston right behind them on 28 points, plays tomorrow night. Actually, Charlotte does FC Dallas a favor because the team right in front of Dallas is Real Salt Lake. Real Salt Lake falls to Charlotte tonight. They're a little bit of a victim of a bad call. Pablo Mastroeni's team was. There's
been a lot of those this year for
Yeah,
Real Salt Lake.
they really have for them. San Jose is another team that's right ahead of Dallas. They play San Diego tomorrow. That's not an easy one. Colorado, another of the teams that Dallas is chasing. They actually win tonight 2-1 at Atlanta. So a little bit of a mixed bag as far as other results that Dallas needs to be watching right now.
Sunday Night Football will be very interesting for FC Dallas fans if you're looking to tune in. But we'll turn our attention to next week because FC Dallas comes back home. But the black and gold of LAFC follow as well. They get a 2-0 win tonight against Caleb Porter's New England Revolution, which is not a huge shock. Mark Delgado and Matthew Chaudière get goals. But Fatmav's man of the match is the one we're all focused on, Son Heung-min, who will make his first appearance ever at Toyota Stadium next week. I know tickets are going fast, but check FCDallasTickets.com. But assuming you cannot get one of the hottest tickets in town this year, don't worry. We've got you covered here on the FC Dallas Radio Network on the Second Screen Burncast. We will have full coverage next week, starting with pregame at 7 o'clock, kickoff from Toyota Stadium at 7:30. But that's going to do it for tonight's FC Dallas postgame show. FC Dallas and Austin FC go honors even 1-1 at Q2 Stadium. Dallas gets a point to go up to 29. For engineer Barry Walters, for Ryan Figert, for Steve Davis, I have been Sam Hale. You've been listening